Well, it's the only one we've been talking in, so.
Are you sure?
Well, it's the only one we've been talking in, so.
Are you sure?
I thought
Well,
we
it's the
were in
only
one.
one we've been talking in, so.
Are you sure?
I thought
Well,
we
it's the
were in
only
one.
one we've been talking in, so.
Why
No,
do I
sir.
hear kind of you? Why do
No,
I
sir.
hear? Okay.
Oh yeah, that's kind of weird.
Oh no, it's because I have my own Twitch stream up, so it's just so it's just looping. Anywho, it's fixed now.
Yeah.
Are you talking on your microphone,
My
Greg?
new mic, yeah.
Oh, frick yeah, bud.
Yeah. So let's get this started. Hey, what a flippity flop though! This is Stranger or Big Moose, and we're here with Faultarian Journal number 6. We're 6 weeks in a row. We're 6 weeks strong. I wish I could have a 6-week lifting routine, but I can't do that. But I can definitely do this. And I'm here again with Stephen Chandler, or I say Reed and Gotta Go School. So Stephen Chandler, please introduce yourselves.
Hey, it's your boy S.A. Reed. What it do? What it do?
Cool.
Yeah, and it's me at Gotta Get Swole.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
we got a few topics as usual. So the first one that we have there is we got tester games and MMR. So essentially, what we're trying to discuss here is, does MMR influence someone from trying to find bugs because they're more worried about their own clout, I guess, within their tester group? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to see what you guys think about that.
So what specifically are you trying to talk about? That it was just kind of vague to me. I just kind of want to be able to pinpoint it.
So essentially, there's on playfault.com, you can go on the website there and they have an MMR system. It was there for alpha. I don't think they actually had the system itself in place, but you could definitely go on the website, look at the leaderboards, see where you are, where you stack up against everyone, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that's kind of spooky about that is there's they had that leaderboard up even during like internal testing and alpha testing and all that stuff. So like public testing, I guess, because that's essentially what Alpha 3 weekend was, and Alpha 2 and all that stuff. So do you guys think that a lot of people would they would worry more about winning the game than about testing a bug or a certain character? Like maybe a certain character wasn't chosen by the name of Boris because he sucked. Because they didn't want to play him, even though he probably needed the most testing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I definitely think that it does become a bit of that, because it's kind of that conflict of interest, right? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to not lose, or are you trying to do the job that you need to do? Because sometimes being a tester, it's pushing the game to see where it will bend and push the game to see where it will break, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it is kind of that idea of, okay, when you're putting that hyper competitive aspect into it, and it's a lot of professionals who are testers, it's a lot of esports players who are testers, sometimes maybe you can get a little bit more focused on actually trying to keep like a good elo or something like that. I'm sure that they have like mandates of like, you have to play this character, you have to be, saying what you're doing, and if you're only playing Twin Blast every single game or something like that, they might. I would expect that they'd be like, hey, maybe you can try out some other characters, try out some other builds, maybe try a different faction or two, because I can definitely see how that might become a bit of a problem.
Oh,
But I think that's kind of like, that's the beauty of the Discord and that community. So when you have people who are just like, let's say, who are only in the alpha, because again, I don't know if you guys are specifically talking about just the tester games that are like behind the scenes, or if you're talking about like when they have their more open alpha, because obviously if you're a tester, that's your main job is just like testing and whatnot. So obviously, I'm sure they're not too worried about MMR or anything like that. But it's more so, I guess, if you're talking about like these alpha weekends that have happened, if those people were less worried about playing the game and giving feedback, or like, I think the general public that's just playing during an alpha weekend aren't going to take it as serious as somebody who's just purely a tester, because you got into it for different reasons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm not knocking it. Like, obviously, you know, the devs could look at them and say, "Look, man, we need more Boris gameplay. Can you guys please do that?" You know what I mean?
And well, that's the other thing. I think once it's been brought up in the Discord, everyone's already talking about how Boris needs to kind of be rebuilt. Like that tells you right there. Obviously, they're going to then open up that tester chat and start talking to people and start saying, "Hey, okay, clearly there's a problem with this character. We need at least every game on both sides want people to have Boris, and then just let us know where he's failing."
Yeah, and Zojax, just to let you know, like, they didn't have the actual system itself in play, so you weren't facing like bronze players, for example, versus bronze. Like, didn't have the system activated. But even if it wasn't activated, you could still go on playfault.com and you could see where you stack up against the leaderboards depending on your wins and losses.
I'm sure that's another just internal, just making sure that MMR system works. Like, even if you don't implement it into the game, just making sure on the back end that
yeah, it is showing up on the
it's
website.
functioning correct.
That's true. The Wolf and Smite. Itchy, what wolf are you talking about? I haven't played that much Smite. I can only tell you probably 10
Oh
of the
yeah,
characters.
that's no, there's a character in Smite where I think his ult, I think he turns big.
Fenrir?
It might be. He grabs a hero, and then I think you can control the wolf, and you can like you
Oh,
can't get
yes.
CC'd, and you can bring it all the way back into
Yes,
like where
yes.
your team is. That
I
would be a
think
cool idea.
that would actually be a really cool idea. Boris currently has an execute ability, which is kind of cool. So he's the only character in the game at the moment that if you're less than 25% health, I think it is, you just one shot them. They're dead. It doesn't really matter. That's like a dive bomb.
Yeah, I think because there was a Thanatos in Smite. That was the character I played a lot when we were playing Smite.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the execute on his ult, but it was the ability of like Thanatos was 100% designed around like you see him, you run because he can do stupid amounts of damage. And then also it's a thing where like you can't knock him out of his ultimate, right? And he flies up, he disappears, and then he flies down and executes. And so like I think maybe something that they should look at for Boris is what are ways that they can make the character scary. Like you need to be actually afraid of seeing Boris because if you aren't, then like if Boris isn't dealing the damage, and I think it's also just like it doesn't need to be that he's always dealing that damage. It's just like the potential for that damage to be such a big thing.
Yeah.
And I think this can tie back into our discussion of MMR and testing. Like if Boris isn't a character that is being tested because he's not good, it's never going to become a good character. And then you can start getting favoritism, I think, in character selection. And then you start getting problems where you'll get like solid metas for like a week or two and all that kind of
Well, I
stuff.
think, like, unfortunately for Boris, since no one got to play him in Paragon, nobody has that emotional attachment to him. So, especially if people get back into a Paragon-like game, why do you want to test that character when you're more interested in making sure your old favorite is as good as it possibly can be?
Yeah, like how make sure that they're treating, you know, Crunch right if they ever put him in.
Oh, they'll put him in one day. You know.
Mm-hmm. Don't play with my
characters.
heart. Don't play with my heart.
To me, just from what I've seen right now, like the only character that I'd say that looks like OP would be Sevarog, just because he just looks like such a tank, even greater than what he was in Paragon. And then obviously, objectively, the worst character would be Boris.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
said they
So it's just
buffed
about
Boris. So there was someone, I think it was the McDonald guy that's always in the Discord. He literally made like a Wix.com free website that said like, "Please buff Boris." Sincerely, everyone.
Yeah.
And and most of us only got to play this Alpha 3, so it was actually really funny. But they said right after that they did buff him. Whether that means they just gave him higher numbers or they changed a bit of his kit, we don't know. But they said they buffed him, and I'm kind of excited. I just think in my head, like, when you think about it, you have Chimera, Grux, who's not in the game yet, and Sevrog, who are like the main tank jungles. And like Boris is supposed to fit in that category, and I'd rather play Countess tank in the jungle. Yeah.
And yeah, I
Countess
think
is good
that's
in the
the
jungle at the
problem.
moment.
Yeah, that's
I
the
should
problem he
mention.
currently has. It's like, why are you clicking him? There is no reason right now to click him other than the fact of, hey, I didn't get to play this character in Paragon.
Yeah. And Itchy, just while you're there, I'm gonna look up Fenrir. I think you're talking about. I'm gonna look up what his ability does to see what I can do. I'm just doing it on my phone while we keep going. And
Yeah, definitely having just that more connection with the character and just making him feel a little more strong.
yeah. And the
And
point of
having
this
those
was not to
up close.
talk about Boris, but like if we're here, let's do it. Like like Boris.
Well, it's kind of fits into our discussion because again, like if you talk about MMR and testing, like again, why are you testing Boris? Why are you trying to make him better if he's just objectively the worst character right now?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But I'm excited to see. What they do. Yeah, and this also ties into. Remember a few weeks ago we were talking about testing and streaming, because there's just someone that I know is very against it, against tester streams, and
Yeah.
I kind of see their point now because when it comes to stuff like MMR. As long as you have a leaderboard of any kind, whether the system's activated or not, and you have streaming, people might be playing for more than just testing. You know what I mean? Like everyone wants to win, obviously. That's the big thing. But yeah, sometimes trying to break the game or finding a weird for some reason an item stacks and is broken, so it shouldn't stack, might be more important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that those things kind of can tend to get missed, right?
But there's benefits and consequences to both sides, right? So tester streams have been the main way for the community like ourselves to get any crumb of stuff from the game for the most part. There's been a few dev streams here and there too, I should say that, but for the most part that is like the big thing that shows us how the game runs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's been a hot minute since they had any streams. That's because they're doing this huge update, which is understandable. But I know, so that helps the public stay connected. But at the same time, it might make the testers less directed to their job. You know what I mean? In a sense. But then again, you can also do the best of both worlds. Like, I would probably say the Strange Matter does internal testing that isn't streamed that we don't know about. Like I remember one time
they'd have to be.
They have to. I remember one time jumping on the Discord, and I saw that Jacka was on fault. You know what I mean? And I was like, and I even called him out for it in the general chat. I was like, "Yo, why you on fault, bruh?" So like that's probably was one of those times like he was doing an internal testing job. Yeah, that just wasn't streamed. So that's pretty much all I want to say about that. Is just when it comes to when it just comes to testing, I don't know if there should be an MMR system unless they're trying to test out the MMR system themselves, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and that definitely seems like more so considering, like they said, it wasn't implemented for matchmaking, so
Yeah, they
It's
didn't.
definitely just making sure that the system can handle those changes and that it just doesn't bug out.
And what do you guys think about the new mic? I got a new mic right now. It's a Blue Yeti X. I better sound a lot better than my headset. And so far, I think I do. There's a bit of noise because of the area I'm in. I'm in this huge like basement area. So if I ever get like an RTX graphics card, I would love to use their like noise reduction software that they have new. But until then, I can't do anything. I had to make sure my PS4 was turned off because I had that turned on the other day, and it's crazy. It sounds like a jet engine.
Oh, always. It's worse when like you're still playing games like 4 a.m. and you have to have your sound down a little bit and you can hear just your PS4 and not the game anymore.
Oh, it's absolutely wild. Like I was playing Final Fantasy VII, which is a fantastic game. I literally did the Shinra portion, like out of the slums. I started it, and oh my goodness, it's wild. And at one point, it's just battle after battle after battle, which seems like it does seem like a bit much, but at the same time, it's I don't know. It just adds to that moment of like we gotta get out of here kind of thing. I didn't spoil anything saying that. So
How many chapters are in it? Have you beaten it yet?
I'm on chapter. I think I'm on chapter 16.
Okay,
I think
cool.
there's 17 chapters.
I think there's 7. Okay, I'm on chapter 11.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm in the ghost train area.
Oh yeah. That's a cool area. It's not my favorite.
Fuck those
but...
ghosts, man. Those ghosts. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what to do when they like nullify, like they have that nullified damage thing. I don't know what to use on them. So I gotta look that up. I'm looking forward to my hard mode playthrough though. When I beat it and then I can run through it again. It's a fun game.
Do we want to talk about that Twin Blast build they put out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Some very interesting things on it to me.
Yeah. So guys, I don't know if you saw this, but on their Twitter page, they put up a bit of Twin Blast. So let me just grab that while we're doing this. Just give me 1 second. I think I have an actual image that I saved.
Yeah, I sent it in our chat there.
Oh, you sent it in the chat too, just to make it a bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Nee. When you say chat, do you mean the Creed one?
It's in Creed, general chat.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
past the anime chick.
Sorry, guys. Just having a...
I'll just send it again.
We got any Grand
Down at the
Summoners
bottom now.
players in the chat? 'Cause I got that Amane, and
So the
she's
biggest
not
thing
good.
that I noticed with this new build is
Okay, yeah.
the fact that all these abilities can be charged.
Mm-hmm. And they can
And that's an extremely interesting, just like, again, because they're trying to work with the animations they already had, but
Can you
the
guys see it
difference,
there
like
now?
something as like his ultimate being able to use rockets as a dash.
The dash a short distance in direction and when ventilators act dash.
Yeah,
up
it's
to
kind of
3
cool.
times
It is different. It's a lot different than I thought it was going to be.
Are you able to make that image bigger?
You know what? Let me just jump on their Twitter, and then we'll make it bigger. Hope nothing sketchy shows up on my Twitter. Because you never know nowadays. Awesome. Much bigger. Oh, shit. Yeah, so this is the new Twin Blast, and like it's so
I'm a big fan.
Yeah. And it's so different than the rest of the old Twin Blasts. So he has a passive now because Fault's adding passives. There was a time in Paragon and Legacy that they did have passives on characters actually, but that was a while ago, and they got rid of them pretty fast, if I'm not mistaken. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to give every character like a niche of some sort, and so that's what we got here with Twin Blast. So he's supposed to be like kind of like the speedy carry. So his passive is successful basic attacks grant stacks of movement speed for a short duration. So if you're hitting your shots, you're going to be moving. You're going to start rocket scootering, as Steven once said. Which I think is
Oh,
kind
it's
of
going to
cool.
be so cool to watch, like, high tier players using him and just, like, zooming around the map.
Yeah. But usually the more you move, the more difficult it is to hit your shots, too. So it could actually be a really good balance, right?
And that's what I mean. That's why it'd be cool with the higher tier people, because obviously, like, somebody like me, I'm going to get 2 or 3 basic attacks in a row, and then I'm going to botch it because I just won't be able to track.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It really it elevates the skill cap, the skill ceiling for Twin Blast a lot. But it's not without without upping the skill floor also. What we mean by that is the skill ceiling is like when you're a pro player Twin Blast level, it's now even higher. So you can be even better with Twin Blast if you're really good with him than what you used to be able to. And when you say skill ceiling, we mean they didn't raise it so that you won't be garbage even if you've never played him before.
And that seems to be the trend with any of the characters that they're trying to rebuild, is that, again, they want as low of a skill floor as possible, but making sure that as they're lowering that, they're also increasing the skill ceiling.
Steve, what do you think about Twin Blast and this movement speed he has built into his kit now?
It'll be fun. I think it fits his character. I think it'll, because that was kind of the whole point. Like, man has rocket arms. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the whole thing of him being a fast character makes him a good DPS, and it helps distinguish him in team fights as opposed to someone like Murdoch. Murdoch is a lot more like lock things down. You can't get away from him because his gun shoots across the whole map. But with Twin Blast, it's different because, he's like a smuggler looking guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost like the difference between a soldier and a mercenary.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a lot more like guerrilla warfare, and I like how they got rid of the wasn't the double
Gatling gun?
No. It was the where he'd shoot his guns like 3 times in a row, pop pop pop.
Yeah.
They got rid of that, and they just gave him attack speed. I think that's a lot cooler. Yeah, I think getting rid of the Gatling gun and the because I remember when in Legacy they had him, he shot rockets and stuff like that.
Oh.
And it always just seemed so strange that,
where's it coming from?
well, not even just that, like the rockets and the Gatling gun, you're building your character to be a crit demon, right? And then you get into a team fight. If you want to use your ultimate, bam, all your crit is gone because it's ability damage, right? Like, so this makes a lot more sense. It allows you to like heighten and actually save your ultimate for a good use that'll actually complement your kit. I think this is a really good move for him.
I am very, very happy with his kit, actually.
If this is the kind of stuff we can expect, then I think
What's also cool, the trend that I'm seeing is also having ultimates that affect regular abilities. I'm a big fan of that because it expands your pulse. Again, it's little things like that expands the skill ceiling rather than just making it like, oh yeah, I used an ultimate and all it's going to do is that basic ability.
Yeah, and it's really cool because like, what do you say? Oh, you can. That would be a nice balance actually if you use the third. Okay.
Yeah, you basically just overheat your thrusters or something like that.
Yeah, because then it would benefit picking and choosing when to use your alt. Because think about it this way: even though it's a small distance, because it's so fast, it's like advanced warfare movement kind of fast in Call of Duty, and like you're not getting hit when you're dashing. It's not happening. Well, you could be, but it's.
Well, just think about Tracer in Overwatch.
Yeah, or Tracer.
She has 3 dashes and then it's on a cooldown.
Yeah, which is That's actually a very good example. So now he has these dashes. So like you're not running away from this Twin Blast ever. If he's hitting the shots. Like if you're about to die, you're dead, kind of thing. Which is kind of a good thing, and it also really emphasizes on the carry being exactly that, the carry. When it hits late game, this carry is going to be scary. They're going to be hard to hit. They won't need like a support on top of them at all times. Even though they're still a carry, they're still going to need them, of course. And I'm actually really excited. And from what I've heard, from what the testers have said, now this is a month ago now, right? Because they've been doing this big update. But Twin Blast is the best character in the game at the moment, which is kind of cool. Like, very good. They've even been playing him in off lane a little bit, or so they said. I can't. They just said that here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, 100% Itchy. That would actually be awesome. Actually, you should, Itchy, if you're not in the Strange Matter Discord, you should put that in the improvement. Because that's just one of those, like, yeah.
I'm wondering how that works out on his summer skin.
Oh, my
Does he just start sweating?
Yeah. He just has water coming out. Yeah. The only thing I gotta say, though, is he obviously has a higher skill ceiling with this. Like, that's very apparent.
And it's for the bad.
Yeah. But you now took away his machine gun, which was fun to use, but it wasn't that great. And it doesn't look like he'll also be able to spam grenades as fast. So one thing I was really good about Twin Blast is he was the only carry that had super good poke. So when it was 2v1 in lane and Paragon, you could poke that offlaner. So Twin Blast became really good. And especially because Steven Chan, you guys are more used to controller. Like, it was really hard to shoot and throw your grenade at the same time. But on PC, it's easy because it's two different hands. Like, you do it simultaneously. So he's way better on PC. And so he had, like, some incredible poke. And it seems like with how they made it like this, what I'm worried about, and I don't know if it's a good worry or bad worry, if he doesn't do enough damage, if he just hits it once to do the poke, maybe they took away his poke ability now. Anywho, you guys go from there.
Well, isn't that why you can charge up that grenade?
Hang on,
so
guys.
you have the ability if you want to.
I'll leave 5 seconds.
Yeah, all good. Just that ability to be able to charge it up for a little bit. I mean, it gives the ability when you are in lane, let's say you're playing in mid with him, or if you're in carry, whatever. If they can see, I'm sure there's some type of animation of him charging that up. Like, you don't know if he's just choosing to use the ability or if he's going to charge it up and have that greater mana cost or whatever, however they end up balancing that. But just having the ability that it's kind of like when you're in lane and you know that the Narbash has used his thunk, you know you can go in because more than likely he won't be able to stun you. Yeah. But when you don't, like, you just haven't seen the Twin Blast use the grenade yet, even just having that to your advantage, just the scare tactic of, which one is he going to use? Because clearly he still has a bunch of mana, but he could just do a quick poke, or I have the chance to read it.
To really do some damage. Oh, and that actually might be something really cool. Sorry, guys, I just had there's just a 4-year-old that was calling out to me, so I just had to mute my mic very fast, so I wasn't listening.
How dare you?
Sorry, but as I'm back now, and what I think would be cool is, like, so you're saying that you probably won't know the difference of a quick poke or a fast poke. Like, you won't be able to tell if they're, you won't be able to tell damage wise. It'll just be off the speed if it is that.
Yeah, all I can imagine is that obviously a charged up one will use more mana. I'm sure that's probably the difference. Mm-hmm. But again, so when you're in lane against a Twin Blast, if he has a bunch of mana, you have no way of knowing if he's going to use the charged one or just the quick poke.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. And they made his kit more like Sparrow. So Sparrow was always about hitting your basics. Like, big deal, right? The more basics you hit, the more attack speed you got. But that's Twin Blast now. Look at this. You get more movement speed. His RMB gives you attack, damage, and speed. You get, if you are using Ventilate, you get even more attack speed, essentially. So he has 2 attack speed buffs and a movement buff now. So Twin Blast is the new Sparrow with better movement.
Yep.
Twin Blast sounds broken, and I'm kind of excited, to be honest. Like, at face value,
someone has to be able to go up against Sevarog at this point.
Yeah, at face value, he's broken.
Who's going to have the DPS other than Twin Blast to go up against Sevarog in a team battle?
No one. I mean, they're the tank.
Yeah. Might be kind of tricky.
So, Steven Chandler, do you guys like the change? Do you wish it was the original Paragon?
I love it.
No, I think this is
way better than what Paragon had.
Twin Blast was always one of those characters that I felt like needed. There was just something about him, and I feel like with this, I'm gonna be a little bit more apt to want to like play him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's good. And maybe he's not meant to just be a carry, even though that's what we think he is supposed to be. Maybe he's meant to be a mid laner or something. And maybe that's what they're trying to do. Okay, so we're going to take this down. And we're going to move on to the next thing. So, what is the next thing we got there, folks? We got new map ideas as an additional topic. It's kind of... Wow, we're already into new map ideas. That's kind of cool. So... What we were thinking about new map ideas, we were gonna draw like a little map and actually show it, but that unfortunately never happened. But we still got some ideas, and we've talked about this like on and always built up our ideas. Like this is not the first time. But what I was thinking is, because this overhaul is like the main thing. Like I want to see this new update more than anything in the world at the moment, because I got nothing better to do with my time with the coronavirus, and I'm so excited. And what I would love to see is especially with the map and how it's going to only benefit the MOBA that Fault is trying to create, as well as keep that what's the word I'm looking for, as well as keep that remembrance is not the right word, of Paragon. Nostalgia is the right word. The nostalgia of what Paragon was.
That's a legacy.
Steve, you are...
Dude, what is your mic doing?
Times 4.
Oh
right
my
now.
god.
You're breaking people's eardrums. You're breaking eardrums right now.
What?
You need to fix
Your mic sounds broke.
You need to mute it or something.
What do you mean?
Just fix it.
Disconnect it, bro.
Just disconnect, reconnect. Current map is a good map, but some places is too tight, too wide, and the left and right lanes look awkward in lane to gang. I agree with the lanes look awkward, very much so. But Strange Matter did say that the map in like the Alpha 3 weekend and Alpha 2 weekend, and so on and so forth, that was a map that they created simply for testing. It was like, it's literally a temporary map. It's not the map.
It's the placeholder more than anything.
Yeah, it's just a placeholder for what they plan on doing. So there's some stuff that I've talked about in a YouTube video a while back when I first started doing all this stuff, and that I've heard through dev streams and through a few stuff in the general chat there, that people would like to see changed. And the big thing is the jungle, the outer lanes, a river, and the buffs, which kind of goes with the jungle a little bit. So I'm just going to bring up some gameplay while I'm at it. Awesome. So what I mean is, what I would love to see with the lanes is, so the lanes currently kind of they're kind of oval a little bit, like a half circle, which is good. But I'd love to see them actually stick even farther out, if that makes any sense. So kind of in a sense, make the lane a bit longer. Just because the big thing that is really unique to a MOBA is you can't move. If you're moving too fast, it's not a 3-lane MOBA anymore. It's more like a team deathmatch. We're not playing Overwatch here.
No.
We're playing Fault. So because of that, it's really, you need to make the decision of knowing when to rotate. So with the lanes being slightly longer, it'll only emphasize on when to rotate. Because sometimes there are games there where I'll be like, okay, I'll rotate, but I'm gonna finish killing this minion wave first. But now if they make the lanes longer, I might have to go, no, screw that minion wave. I don't got time for that. I gotta go help my team out right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We
kind of touched on that before, like the most important mechanic in any MOBA is time.
Yeah, it is. It is very important.
Time is influenced by a bunch of things. It's influenced by character movements, influenced by map design, it's influenced by abilities. All these things influence what we consider the most important part of a MOBA.
Yep, 100%. And Steve's actually the big guy on that, but his mic just broke on us, so he's not here. But yeah, so that's what I would love to see, and what I would also love to see in the jungle. I want it to look nicer, of course, but that's going to happen. It's going to look nicer. And the jungle in particular, when you think about the strong jungle side, that would be the side where your red buff is. I would love to see... Yeah, I would love to see that be like more closed in a sense. Like, I don't know how they would do it. I really don't know how. But I would love to see like it more closed to feel more like a jungle in a sense. Because I feel like right now, when you walk into that jungle, you always know where everyone is. And
always.
Even without a ward. Like, who needs a ward when I can just like, they're not to my left, well, they're obviously behind the wall kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I think... Yeah. And I find with third person in particular, you can see more of the map than you could in like a top-down version, like in League of Legends. So I think it's really important to try to really close it off in a little bit of sense. Make it, because to me, a jungle should be dangerous. Like, I'm walking in and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. It's the jungle.
Yeah, well, and I personally, I want it to feel claustrophobic.
Oh, you want it to feel claustrophobic?
Like tight. I want it to feel like you're going into it, because again, it's one of those things where if you're talking about time, like when it's your jungle, you should feel confident, you kind of know your route and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be some sort of like, because right now it's too easy to go into the enemy's jungle. Like,
I literally just out of nowhere had an idea, actually.
Awesome.
I don't know if it would work in a MOBA, but like,
are you able to turn yourself up a little bit?
Yeah, I just didn't know if my mic was still shit.
No, you're back. You're back to normal. You're good.
Okay. When you're playing games like Persona, I mean, even like Resident Evil 2, and you have, like in the Persona games, like the Wandering Grim Reaper or, Mr. X in Resident Evil 2, it's this idea of like, oh fuck, I shouldn't be here. What if there was some kind of NPC or a mob that lived inside your own jungle, that patrolled throughout the jungle?
The Amber Collector.
And like, that's the Amber Collector, and it walks around, and then if it catches a some like an enemy in your jungle, then their position is revealed to the whole team.
I mean, that's definitely an extremely cool concept. I don't see it ever being implemented, but just the pure thought of that,
because like then cool. It's like, it's that whole concept of like, because I brought up a few weeks ago, like I want them to figure out ways to make the map feel more alive.
Yeah.
And like that whole thing of like, there's things living in the jungle, not just these fucking little robots, you know what I mean? Like,
or what if something, your idea is very left field, but still a cool concept, of course. What I think would be kind of cool, just established on your idea is maybe not an NPC, but what if the red buff started walking around so that you would actually have to move to kill it? And I don't think it should notify you when people come, because I think that's what a ward is for. But I think it'd be really cool if maybe the red buff, because it is a real person or a real creature in the game. What if that started walking around?
That'd be interesting. The only thing that'd be frustrating is if you're already going in to get it. And again, so since we're talking about time being important, like,
Yeah.
unless they made it so that you can always see where it is on the map, like, it would just be so annoying to go into one half of your jungle for it, and it's on the other side of the map for whatever reason. Or do you mean like it would only cycle around?
Oh, it
Let's
only
say
cycle
you're-
in like the strong jungle.
Only in
Okay.
only in the strong jungle.
Yeah, so just do like a circle or something, or like maybe it would take one minion every circle it does from you,
Yep.
or something
Yeah,
like
I'd
that.
be cool with
'Cause
that.
that would actually be kind of cool, because imagine if you're trying to take the enemy's jungle, right? That even adds even more, I don't know, scaredness, I guess. More
Yeah, because
risk.
he's roaming around. If they find you in the jungle and they start hitting you, and that red buff is running around too,
Mhm.
there's good chances he's going to hit you as well as that character hitting you.
That actually,
Like, because like that's why I was thinking like, because like the whole idea of it being the red buff is cool, but what if it was something that maybe it doesn't give vision, but what if it was something that would start attacking enemies, and it's just something you have to worry about?
oh, okay, something
You know-
like it takes more than 2 hits to kill, so maybe 3 hits. Like, let's say a minion takes 2 hits. This minion takes 3 hits, let's say, and it's something to worry about. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, because you got to, because like, there was never really a lot of fear going into the jungle, and because even too, like, let's say you're pushed all the way down, the long way would be taking the lane if you're trying to escape, but maybe the quick way is through the jungle. But then you got to think about, okay, maybe there's some shit in there that's gonna kill me too. So I got to think about that, and it might almost be like, okay, we need to have a better escape plan. We're gonna push this inhibitor. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you should, when you go into the enemy jungle, it should be like, oh fuck, like we got to commit to this. Like, you know what I mean?
Itchy, we put the ideas in every once in a while. It's not too often that we do it.
So, I just randomly had an idea now that we've talked about all this. So, you know how they've had kind of, they're deciding if they want to put the Amber Link back in or not.
Yes.
So imagine this. So you know how people used to go in, and obviously that was one of the things you could do in the enemy jungle was attack their Amber Link.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the sense of, again, Steven always really wants this living map and have it be more dynamic. What if, on top of having the Amber Link, you also had an Amber Guardian? So when somebody comes in, I mean, it just, again, just on the topic of time, like, it's not like it's going to be some unbeatable Guardian,
Yeah.
but it's the fact that you now need to kill this
Well,
minion before you can start doing damage to their Amber Link. Again, it would just be another minion. So like you said, Greg, like just like a 3-hit minion. But the fact that there is something there that can damage you, and you aren't just rolling up to the Amber Link and just
I think
smacking it.
Yeah, that actually might be kind of awesome, and that's actually kind of cool too, because it's just another risk. Like, we don't want to over put it, but yeah, that actually might be really cool. And we're just talking like a little small thing, right? Like a normal red buff. What's it
Yeah.
do? It takes just a few hits. It'll hit you like.
And it's just the little
as much
things
as a
just to
minion
add
does.
to it, like rather than taking away, just adding something.
Yeah. And Itchy said everyone uses harvesters. Nobody attacked the link. See, no one might have attacked it. Okay, how do I put this? Harvesters. They got rid of harvesters in Monolith, in Paragon, and then I remember when they had the original Monolith jungle, where the Amber Link was like literally like you walked into the jungle, you turned left, it was there, kind of thing, and then after about 6 months, they said, "Oh, Epic said, whoa. People are taking the Amber Link. It's too easy to take. We're going to move it to the middle of the jungle, so it's a bit more difficult." Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, what am I trying to say? What I really think about that is is then, let's say you're going into a jungle, and let's say the enemy jungler is, for some reason, he's ganking, but you don't need to gank for whatever reason. Um, and so now you're taking advantage and you're going to take his jungle. So you're taking that risk, hoping they don't have wards. And now, if let's say the red buff starts moving, it'll emphasize more on, are you going in to take the Amber Link? Are you going in to take a minion camp? Or are you going in to take the red buff? But you
Yeah.
can't really take all three without being noticed, kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, like, for me, just why I like the idea of, just for lack of a better term, an Amber Guardian is, again, so since it's on your side, guarding your Amberlink, let's say, you can't farm it. Like, that character can only be killed and you can only get anything from it if you're the enemy team in that jungle. So again, it's just another objective when you are deciding to go into that side. Like, again, because the only way to get any bonus from it is from the enemy's jungle.
And what if it was something like, it's not as much, it doesn't take as many hits as a red buff, but it doesn't take as little hits as a minion, so it's somewhere in between. And what I think would be really cool about that is that would give you gold, so that Amber Guardian, quote unquote, is actually inviting you even though it's defending the Amber Link, it's inviting the enemy jungler and the enemy team to come into the jungle to be taken.
Yeah.
Oh, see, what do you think?
Because again, so that's the thing. Like, I know that's the main goal with your own jungle, is to make sure all your camps are sort of cleared up so that the enemy team can't get any of them. But there should be some, like, even if you go over and there's only one minion you can kill, which is this Amber Guardian, at least you got something out of it.
100%.
That is, like, just making that decision to go over there, because obviously you're leaving your jungle alone and you're not in anyone's lane.
Yeah. Oh, I think it should be a big risk to go into the jungle. But if done flawlessly, it should be no problem at all, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's actually, it's kind of cool. And guys, we're just spitballing here. Like, these aren't real ideas. We're not devs or testers or anything. We're just we're spitballing a few ideas that we have.
are in no way affiliated with Strange Matter Studio or Fault at all. So
yeah, maybe one day we will be, but
yeah,
that's,
for now
that's up to them.
you gonna learn.
And I guess all this talk about jungles and whatnot could sort of segue us into the next one, just with, like, the ward metas.
Yes.
And so I was just watching Sylphin's stream there the other day, and somebody brought up something that was just an interesting concept to me, just the mindset of, should there be locations on the map where placing a ward gives you a greater bonus if you put it in these specific locations? Or is the mindset that the community naturally decides where the meta is and what wards should go where? Is that enough, or should there be some sort of incentive to, let's say, more casual players who may not know about these higher tier strategies, where you just know, hey,
maybe in casual,
my ward is supposed to go here?
Maybe I can see that maybe being a cool thing in casual, if it's like, hey, if you put your ward here between, the opening on strong lane and this path on the jungle, it lasts 10 seconds longer or something like that. And it's
and I'm
kind of
not talking about, like, game breaking bonuses, just enough of an incentive that you have to make the decision to put it there.
My point, though, is I think, like, that can be, like, a good thing for teaching, you know what I mean? And, like, when it comes to ranked, maybe they don't have that, so that there's less incentive to, like, hey, I'm gonna put it here, because if everyone knows, okay, there's a ward there. Or you can start going with the idea of, like, okay, that's where they probably put the ward, maybe I shouldn't go in there, and then it deters people even without a ward there. That could be kind of interesting. Maybe.
And the thing about it is, just like in every MOBA, there's gonna be, as Chandler said, there's gonna be, like, a status. There's going to be like a bandwagon spot kind of thing where people are going to put wards. They're going to be like, this is the best place to put this ward here because it's watching people coming in for the gank or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be places that are more beneficial than others. It's just going to naturally happen. But what Chandler's hypothesizing here is, imagine if Strange Matter took it into their own hands to say, if you do put a ward in a specific spot, which might be an off ward spot, it might not even be a meta spot, you get an additional bonus on your ward. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, something like that.
And that could just be the ward stays another 10 seconds. The ward has a larger vision.
The ward slows.
No way. Could you imagine how broken that would be if we just had a ward and everywhere you put it, it just slowed people down?
No. Like, if you place the ward in the specific area, anyone who gets spotted by the ward gets, like, a 25% slow for 2
No
seconds.
way.
Oh my goodness! No,
Oh
it'd be
my
like
goodness.
5-10% slow. Come on now.
Oh my goodness. Nah.
Yeah, well,
no
2
slow at all.
seconds.
That's crazy. Nah.
But what if actually that was an ability of a character? So,
Well, it would
like,
have to be the ability of like a whatever it is, like an item, that your wards can do that. Like, you'd have to buy into that with gold, so that's more of a late
like
game
what
thing.
what if it was a jungler that when they placed their wards, it gave a slow when it spots them, so it incentivizes placing wards in your jungle.
But I think you already are incentivized to put a ward in your jungle because, again, it's your jungle.
Yeah. But isn't the
Yeah.
incentive to use a ward just the extra vision?
Yeah, but some people just don't.
Yeah, but that's like newer players. Like, wards are so
Bro.
important. Like, people don't understand what wards do for games. Like, they are like, if I know the enemy jungler is in my jungle, that could be an easy kill, or it could be vice versa, right? But if you don't have a ward, I don't have that knowledge to make that decision. I'm just going in blind.
Yep.
Like, the wards give vision, which give you more knowledge, which means you just make better
Listen,
decisions.
I agree that wards are important. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to say that there isn't already incentive to put wards into the fucking MOBA. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. My point is just what if it was a type of jungler? Because remember we were talking a few weeks ago about like a bloodhound type character that has like traps or something
Yes, I
in
remember
the
that, yes.
but specifically maybe it's just in the jungle that when they place a ward, maybe it's just a passive. Whenever you place a ward in a jungle, when it spots them, it gives a slow for 2 seconds. So
yeah,
that
like if it's a specific character, then at least you know if, hey, that specific jungler is on the other team. I just have to watch out because their wards are going to slow me.
Mm-hmm. They should put that on Wraith. Just make him better than he already was, but make his rewind ability 3 times the slog.
Yeah. Just completely break the game.
Play Wraith everywhere. 5-man Wraith squad is the best. Can you imagine? Anywho. Yeah, no, Steve, I see what you're saying. That would be actually kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. If a character... Imagine... You know what? That actually brings up the point. Imagine if there was a character that was created that his whole kit was based on vision. Like, the better the vision the team has, the more... Like, everywhere that there's a ward placed, they can travel to that ward, for example.
Dear God.
Could you imagine? Or, Or, of course, you just said the slow. And maybe the ward's invisible, indestructible, because they have a ward in their kit. Or everywhere that there is a ward on their team, may be able to play an extra ward. That's actually a really good idea.
I was going to say that would almost be more beneficial than a slow, just being able to have a larger area that you're able to look after.
Mm-hmm. Steve, could you imagine that? The alt that could travel to any ward on the map, period. Their Q, let's say, it'll probably be their R&B. Their R&B, they place a ward. They place a ward that has a slow. Their Q is a different ward, but this ward is indestructible and lasts for 500 seconds or something. And that ward also does damage whenever they pass it. And then the E ability is just like something to help them do damage of some kind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's just sounding more and more like a character that ends up creating a meta where, like, if it is like, because
Yeah,
obviously
that's
wards
true.
are important. Like, you put in a character that's just ward based, like, no matter what, every 5 stack is going to have that character.
It's also one of those things too. Like this is if that character, let's just say that hypothetical character that just showed up, let's say they became a thing, right? Why would I play a ward as an offlaner when I got this whatever guy,
The ward master.
the ward master on my team? You know what I mean? We call him the warden, the warden of the jungle.
Yeah, here we go.
Fuck.
I mean, that's definitely taking it too far, but
You little bitch. Fucking dare you.
Well, it was just like a small pun. It was fine.
We need, yeah. You know,
Man.
every time you say a pun, a fairy dies. Okay.
I mean, like,
I don't want to hear no more puns. You mass murderer.
so like, what do you mean by fairy?
I mean, small women with wings
Okay.
and small men,
Okay.
but
like
specifically, I'm thinking Tinkerbell, my
like
dude.
Tinkerbell. Jonah,
Peter Pan,
I
like,
need to play
no,
this game too.
Said another
You know what I mean?
pun.
We could
No.
be. We were originally 6 days away. You know. Unfortunately, they pushed it back, which is nothing on them. You know, if it's gonna make a better game, I'm here. But yeah,
I can smell the salt, as you said that.
he wants to say it's okay, but he's not
Literally-
okay with it.
A whole province away, and I'm just like,
watching gameplay,
Am
do
I
you
at the
think the
beach?
side-to-side moment is too? I think you meant movement. Side-to-side
Movement, yeah.
movement is too fast. Melee fights look like dancing around the enemy. No, I don't think it's too fast. So I should also say this. I'll just say this for people that are watching. My shot was just bad, I guess is a good way to put it in this game. Because I was very new to PC at the time. Yeah. So this, me missing a I don't know, a melee or two, I think it has more so to do with me than just the actual movement. I think the movement is actually pretty good in this game. To where, like, if you play Overprime, it's like playing Legacy on crack. You know what's crazy? Just to establish this. I don't know if anyone realized this, but if you played Overprime, just want to put that out there. Yes, the map's bigger than Monolith, but because Overprime increased the speed, it's like the map is smaller than it was on Fault. So like I literally was playing Overwatch on Overprime. Like, who cares about getting my CS when I could just run to 14 different lanes and come back before the minion wave is pushed on my tower? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, really?
And like you said, like, things like that just make the game feel like more of a team deathmatch rather than an actual MOBA.
Dude, I hate stuff like that. I hate it. I want to feel rewarded for getting my CS. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but anywho, enough about Overprime and back to Full. But where were we? We're talking about wards. Yes. So what about like a ward in the river, Steve?
mm-hmm.
Do you think that, like, let's say you had a ward, like a real person, and you put it in a river? Well, the ward is now harder to get at because you're in a river, if that makes any sense. But it's also harder to put in as well. So what if little stuff like that, like you put a ward in the river, you have decreased movement speed or something because walking through water is a bit more difficult. But that's also
cool.
the case. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? That's just off the top of my head. Chandler, what do you think about that there?
I mean, so you're purely saying the environment is now going to affect you.
What if the map itself... Because you were talking about the ward meta thing and how in certain spots maybe there be a buff or debuff
Yeah.
for your ward. What if that was one of them? The map itself is actually what am I trying to say? It is making the ward different in a sense. You know what I mean? What if buffs near the river can drink it from after 1 minute? They would glow, and if you take it, the buff lasts longer. What would they glow with? Did I understand
It's
that
definitely
right?
an interesting concept. I don't know.
Do you think
I'd
that's a
hate
bit
for
much?
this part of the environment automatically slowing you.
Yeah,
Because
that's
again,
true.
if we're talking about time being so important, like
Yeah.
movement speed debuffs, that's why they're so important and why a lot of supports have the ability to slow down the other characters. Because again, it's just giving you that time advantage, that movement speed advantage.
That's true.
So if by default, all of a sudden the environment is able to just slow you just like that,
Yeah.
I don't know, it would just be extremely frustrating to play against.
That's true.
And it just sounds like another reason to turn the game off rather than turn it on.
That's true. That's true. That's one of those like you're getting trolled by the map kind of things. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I can see what you're saying. Ichi, what do you mean by drink, Ichi? If you could elaborate on that. While you're doing that, I was just to kind of bring it back when you said ward meta earlier today when we were just discussing the topics. I remember my first initial thought was just about how is it. Can a meta change with warding in a sense, if that makes any sense? Or another way to look at it is if you can't win a game without a ward or vice versa. So is there a way for Strange Matter to make it so that if you're not warding, you're not doing what is the meta. You're not doing the optimal thing, which is understandable.
But I kind of by default, I feel like that's the reality of it. Like, obviously, the teams that you have all 5 people warding correct, by default, have an advantage to the people that aren't warding at all, even without any additional buff.
And how would you change a ward meta? Or is that just something that has to happen within the community? Or do you think the devs should have a hand in that?
Would ward meta really just come down to map layout?
Pretty much. Because, like, imagine
So it would just depend on how often they updated the map, which really, I mean, how often do you want the map being tweaked?
Not very often. They did that a lot in Paragon,
and then that's
where it
kind of
is
what I
now.
mean. That's why the meta, not only in Paragon was the meta constantly changing because of its characters every 3 weeks, but you had both characters and the map getting tweaked constantly.
Yeah.
And that's really what had the meta constantly just in a cycle.
Yeah, but like I understand. So like big changes shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? All the time. But like, how do I put this? But if a little small change, like there's now a wall here for this week, but there isn't a wall there next week. You know what I mean? Like that's something people, even if you only played once a week, you would be able to adapt to that. You know what I mean? And we got when the EA comes out, will they be the same heroes that we know to this day in the packages, or will they add some others?
I think I was looking in the Discord, and I think they said just depending on when it comes out, there's a chance that there might be a character added to the list. But it really just sounds like more than likely, like, if it just takes that much longer, because that's what people are wondering about with, like, the timeline and everything. Like, will the game come out and we still have to wait a month or two for Sparrow?
Yeah.
But it sounded like to me, because of it, like if it actually goes that full 2 more months before the game comes out, it sounds like there's a chance they may just have Sparrow come out with the base game.
Oh, okay. Jonah, I think from my understanding, and Chandler's gave us new information, is the characters in default Steam packages that they currently have done up are like, it's almost set in stone. There is still subject to change, but that's what we can expect to be on EA release, with the exception
Yeah.
of Baby Sparrow. But now that they did this delay, we might be able to get her day one.
Yeah, because we already knew that she was going to be the first character added to the game, but
Yeah.
this really, with the delay, like it would make most sense just for fan service, just making her be part of the lineup
Yeah.
right at EA. We won't know until it's, let's say, 2 weeks before the actual EA's coming out, but as of right now, just from what I've heard through the Discord, it seems like they may lean towards that. Again, no confirmation on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just wanted to say, Ichi's already been pushed back. It won't be pushed back again, I don't think. I got full
Yeah, I think
confidence in
I'm
him.
just mainly talking about just the timeline.
Oh,
like, you know how they
everything
had
is
with,
getting
like,
pushed back, 100%.
Yeah, with the whole season 0 and whatnot, and like the characters coming out.
Yeah, unless
We probably-
they get more devs, so they can get more done. It's definitely getting pushed back. But that
That'll
is a
be the
very
other biggest thing.
possibility.
Like the first couple weeks of EA being out, let's say it does have a massive amount of people supporting it, and they do have the funds to kind of push out content earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the other big deciding factor, and that's the main reason they're pushing back the launch of EA's, because they want the best possible game to come out. Because again, they want the support so they can make sure
Guys, and I just
the
want to
game is
say this.
successful.
You know, I felt that there was sort of an unfair amount of hate towards this delay. Like, don't get me wrong, I was upset. I'm still a little bit upset, but it's something that happens with games, and like this year in particular, because of this virus, it's like a major thing. It happens with almost every game. Delays are never a bad thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, just look at the multi-million-dollar movies that are getting pushed back.
That's what I'm saying. The
So
Last
if you
of
think
Us
these
is on
companies
its
that
second
have
delay.
millions of dollars in them and their projects are getting pushed back, like, it's completely understandable that this super small team that doesn't have a massive amount, I mean, they do have a considerable amount of, like, funds behind them,
Yeah.
but it's not like they have a multi-million-dollar situation where they can push it out no matter what.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that just really fast. I think people were just a bit unfair with their way that Fault was delayed. You know, the delay is there so that they can make a better game. Anyone that says, "Look, they're trying to become Core 2.0 and they're just gonna disappear," they're not. They're clearly still active in the Discord. There's nothing that says they're not going to put out the game now just because they did a delay. Some people will argue, well, it was 2 weeks before. You know, exactly 14 days before the EA came out. Why couldn't they tell us sooner? Well, obviously they would have if they could have. You know what I mean? Like, but it might have only been that 14 days before it happened. It was then that they realized, damn, we're not going to be able to do this in time, no matter how much we work, kind of thing. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
it'd be different if it was 3 days before. Like, if right now we were still under the impression that the game was coming out on the 8th, and tomorrow they decided to tell us, oh yeah, by the way, that's not going to happen.
That's different. You know, that's...
I think 2 weeks is reasonable, because you got to think about what can I feasibly do in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And, like, guarantee it, so...
Yeah.
At that point,
And
you kind of have
you
to.
have
I'm
also
sure.
think about it from a dev point of view. Like some of these developers have like, they've invested so much money and time into this game that the last thing that needs to happen is the game. If they can't rush the game and release a shit version, like that can't happen, or this game becomes. It just becomes a dream, not a reality. You know what I mean? They need to release a good game. In my opinion, and for the people that have invested the time and money into this, it is so important. They really need those 2 months if that's what it's going to be, to make sure that they have a better game that everyone is going to enjoy, from the top of the competitive level to brand new MOBA players that have never played a MOBA before, right? And that's what I got from this. That's what I got from this delay. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
because I had someone, I just had someone that they were a bit concerned, I guess, with the delay. And they kind of reached out to me and said that they probably should have reached out to mod or dev, but they reached out to me, and that's why I said, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the delay. I think all you can expect is that you can only expect goodness from this delay. It's frustrating. Everyone wants stuff now. Like, I ordered a webcam March 16th. I'm going to keep saying it. March 16th. It hasn't shipped yet, guys. Yet I ordered something yesterday and it's already shipped. Explain that to me, Amazon.
They don't give a fuck.
Explain that to me.
Do you see that message there in the chat?
Perfect. And I thank the Fault team for continuing to report on the game. Where do I pay for early access? Haha. That was a weird haha. I need it on my computer right now. How can I get access to the test weekend? Jonah, just to answer your question, it's currently on Steam, but you can't pre-order it or anything like that. They talked about doing pre-orders before the delay. I'm not sure how it's going to be there now, but you can definitely add it to your Steam wish list. And if you want to see the packages, you can just go into the Strange Matter Discord and ask a mod to direct you, or just go check out the announcements page there, and they should be able to help you out. Oh yeah, Jonah, you need a computer. This is okay. This is like my 4th month having a computer now, and it's awesome. I literally heard about the Fault. I heard about Fault and was like, time to get a computer. That's it. Been a console gamer for 10 years. Don't matter. I'm a computer player now.
Yeah, and just to talk about the test weekend, so again, this is another thing that's come up in the Discord multiple times, and there's zero confirmation yet about anything at all, but they've toyed around with the idea of, instead of putting out keys, making it an open alpha whenever they do the next weekend, and then they've also had talks of making it not only just a weekend, but a full week.
Hang on, I might be able to tell you. I actually took notes on this. Like,
yeah,
real notes.
Just from what I've heard so far, they're leaning towards open alpha.
Yeah, I took quotes on this, so I can tell you. In the general chat, someone asked about a 4th alpha weekend. So Strange Matter have said that if they can do it, they can't confirm it. If they can, they are going to have a 4th alpha weekend, kind of as an apology for the delay. And this was said in the Gen Chat days ago, and it's right from one of the founders himself. He said, because someone asked about keys, because they've been doing 10,000 keys, the founder replied, how about infinite keys? So guys, tell all your friends, if there is if there is a 4th alpha weekend, we don't want to put too much stress on Strange Matter and say you have to have one, because if it's going to delay the game, don't do it. Oh wait, I don't need a weekend. Truly. But if there is going to be a 4th weekend, tell all your friends. You don't need no key. They ain't disappearing in 7 hours like an Alpha 3. Everyone will be able to play.
I'll get to play this time. Hell yeah.
Steve. Yes. And what are you saying? Probably just stress test the servers. Nothing but good things can come out of it. Ichi, you're right.
Who was saying that?
Apparently, Ichi, apparently in Alpha 3, they didn't reach even 10% of their server capacity. But with infinite keys,
they might be able to figure out a little more.
Yeah.
Because the number one turnoff to a brand new game that dropped on early access is if every time you get into it, it crashes. I mean, look at Anthem.
Well, it happens every year.
They had months straight.
Every year, Call of Duty. The first day, the servers crash. Are you kidding me? I couldn't download Warzone for 2 weeks because there were so many people that downloaded it when it went free. Like, that actually happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if they have enough hype behind it and more people can get into it, because obviously it's going to be their servers. It's not like the sketchiness going over at Overprime where you're just hosting your own basically little lobby. Like, the fact that since there is going to be, let's say, potentially tens of thousands of people on the game, you want that to be when it's completely free before you're trying to ask for any money from someone.
For Alpha 4, if they give 20,000, let's say they give infinite keys out, I think they can see 20,000 people sign up for the
Oh, I'd say
fourth
at this
alpha.
point.
20,000? Easy. In fact, I think that actually might be lowballing it. Like, doesn't mean they're going to have 20,000 concurrent players. It just means they're going to have 20,000 people download the game. I think. Which I think would be pretty awesome. Yeah. Oh, now you got me all excited about a fourth alpha weekend. Oh boy. What would you guys love? What would you guys like to see in the fourth alpha? Like what would make it good for you? Like so. What am I trying?
I guess
to say?
that's the thing. So since we already know the current map they have out was a placeholder, do you think on a fourth alpha weekend they would put the updated map in, or would they continue to have that test map?
I think there's gonna be. I think it's gonna be the new map.
Oh, I
I'm
think so
hoping-
too, and
I
I
think
think that'd
it's-
be the most exciting thing
Yeah.
about a fourth alpha weekend is to be able to play that new revised map and to be able to
100%.
make sure, like, just with the community and having more people playing it, if they are going to update it, being able to have that kind of feedback before the full EA comes out,
Mm-hmm.
especially because it sounds like they're going to do something kind of radically different.
Having raptors and fangtooth, maybe it's a movement speed, but the map looks larger. I'm sure they could fit it in. They do have raptors in the map, and they talked about big raptors. So they talked about doing elder raptors. Okay, they didn't say elder raptors. They said big raptors, which means I might just bring back fangtooth and eliminate the 3 raptors.
100% sounds like Fangtooth.
I really, really hope they don't do that. To be honest,
But I think, again, Fangtooth in the sense of not just Fangtooth, but kind of like what we were talking about before of just having them slowly upgrade.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'd like to see. Like a raptor.
That'd be the coolest feature.
Evolve as he eats the grass in the raptor pit into a fangtooth. That'd be kind of cool as time goes on.
Or if you just kill a certain amount of them.
Yeah.
Like if it's, again, 30 minutes into the game, I don't want a regular raptor. I want a bigger Fangtooth raptor that just gives
100%.
more.
100%.
Because at a half an hour in, if you haven't hit full build, you
Yeah.
need something like that to help just push you straight into it.
When it comes to fourth alpha weekend, by the way, I want Sparrow in the game.
I
You
want
think?
Crunch in the game, bro.
Steve, he's not even on the drawing board yet. You need to calm down.
I refuse to accept that he'll never be in the game.
He'll be in the game when it's free to play.
Don't fucking lie to me.
Actually, they did do that poll though. They did do that poll of what people's favorite character was. So
Yo, this guy Ichi trying to catch hands, bruh.
Crunch is
Listen,
Yo.
we don't speak bad about our god here. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, he's joking.
I'm gonna be
All
honest
right,
with you.
here.
Me and Chandler here only.
I give you some hearts. Bam. There you go. That's for you, Ichi.
Crunch. He don't care about no one else. Me and
There you
Steve,
go.
me and Chandler could give two. Don't give two flying fucks about that.
This is for
character.
you. This
to be
is
honest.
for you. Thanks for the. You had me going there for a sec.
Honestly,
Almost had to ban you for life.
you know what's crazy? Why are you scared of Crunch Jungle? I'd rather play a Narbash in the jungle.
You shut the fuck up. Are you stop? Y'all suck.
I was going to say, Steve, Crunch Jungle is all you ever wanted to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Crunch
And you
Jungle was that was my main, man. I rolled up with
Remember
that
when
Crunch
you
with the
Seraph
punch.
mained?
Yo, okay, so I mained a few characters. All right, I mained, and by main I mean I only played 5 different characters. Right, I played Crunch, Seraph, Faye. That's 3.
I think that's it.
I think that's. I think those are the only characters I've really played. I mean, I played Kwong, but like, I never really liked playing Kwong. Yeah, those were my 3 mains.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, let's say a hypothetical Alpha 4. let's say it happens. Let's say, what would I love to see in Alpha 4? The new map. The new UI. I want to see the UI. You can't be talking about it every day since I've been in the Discord and not show me. It can't be in the Trello page that it was created January 6th. I literally remember the date without looking at it because it got me a little bit salty. You can't talk about the UI and not have the UI in Alpha 4. Well, you can, but please don't. I want to see it. I want there to be an exit game button, and I don't want to have to hit Alt F4. High school project looking UI. No, apparently it's pretty good. It's apparently pretty good.
He's talking about the current one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the current one. Yeah, the current one,
But that's the same as the map, just placeholder right now.
It's just a placeholder. That's all it is. It's the same thing even with the Paragon Alpha way back. If anyone was a closed alpha tester for Paragon, it actually probably looked worse, to be honest. That's just something that it gets updated over time, right? It's not high on the priority list, but I want to see it. Because one big thing for me is like when you get to that start screen and you hear some kind of punk music, and like a cool UI, and like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to play right now. Before even getting to the game, we're already hyped, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, boy.
So I'd love to see that. So map, Sparrow, UI. Steven Chandler, is there anything else you guys would love to see in the game? I got a fourth one. Hang on, but I'll let you guys go first.
Nah, I got nothing.
Audio cues. I want to see audio cues. I want to know when I'm hitting someone.
Yeah, having that fleshed out. But again, that's just
Game looks in between alpha and the update Paragon visuals. I think the last visual update on Power Monolith a little bit right before Bellica's overcame. Yeah, I mean the game doesn't look bad right now, but if you compare it to what Paragon looked like in the Monolith days, I mean, you can tell that it's in alpha, right?
Yeah, but it looks better.
It's
than
not
Paragon's
bad, but it
alpha.
it looks better than Paragon's alpha, but
Doesn't look better than their beta.
Epic also had to make all the assets, right? I mean,
yeah, 100%.
SMS are just getting them.
True, yeah.
It's all just about application. And I mean, Paragon fans are always gonna we're gonna love it, whatever it is, right? Like we'd play, like I'd pay for this, you know what I mean? Like, because I just want to play the game. But
and I think that's the reason you see so many people playing Overprime, because the community that was left when Paragon ended, they haven't been able to fill that void with any other game.
yeah, we just wanted to play Paragon, and Epic were like, no, we know what you really want, and we're like, no, we just want to play the fucking game.
You know what's crazy? If Mike is here, or if anyone can let him know, when he said I sound like Cam Winston last week, I thought about that every day. Because I never want to sound like Cam Winston.
I didn't think you sounded like him that much.
Listen, you know what? It's because they're a part of the PC Master Race and they don't understand how important aim assist is for a controller player. But that's
yeah, like that's the thing. Like that's more like Cam Winston, in my opinion, not being open-minded to things.
I think so. Funny enough about just aim assist, in one of the latest Fortnite updates, they just dialed back aim assist.
Yeah, because Ninja complained about it every day.
Well, I mean, a lot of people were complaining about it, but that was only with the introduction of the new meta of the pro players all just kind of switched over to controller at the same time.
Wait, did they really?
Well, because again, aim assist.
Yeah.
Nobody it's always been that, hey, the better way to play the game is with keyboard and mouse. So nobody ever really had the time of day for a controller. But once you start, like if you already know the game mechanics, and you can figure out, let's say, your builds and whatnot with controller, that's when it started just breaking shit. So it's definitely like, I kind of understand where like Mike was coming from with like, well, you got to look at the bigger picture, like, because we can see other games clearly having an issue with aim assist. But I think the biggest thing that we were just trying to say is like having it implemented, not having like a super hard aim assist, but like,
You can always tone down aim assist, right?
and that's the biggest thing. It's in the name itself. It's an aim assist. It's not a lock on.
Yeah.
And that was definitely the only problem I saw.
So I guess we, for the last 30 minutes, we'll just go on to our story, is what I'm calling it there. So essentially what I meant by our story is for everyone that's watching and listening in, and for me, Steven Chandler, we would love to hear your guys' story about how you discovered Paragon and discovered the para-zombies that followed after it, what it meant to you, so on and so forth. And we just kind of wanted to have a little bit of a kind of a chill session a little bit, because we always do these topics. We kind of went a bit off track this week so far. It's kind of been places, but this is just like we're sitting at a campfire kind of thing, cry about Paragon kind of thing. So should I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
So our story of Paragon. So how Paragon started is Steve here, S.A. Reed, is actually the one that introduced it to me. So Steve and Chandler always try to like bring up new games to me, because like I only played Call of Duty at the time, and so I was like, okay, show, and they showed me a game like Remnant from the Ashes, which is not good, by the way. Even though there's new DLC out for it, I don't know if you guys know that. Anywho, but then they showed me Paragon. So Steve was like, look, it's free to play. Give it a shot. So I gave it a shot. It was on Legacy. I played as Greystone. I said the game was fucking shit. Didn't even finish the game, I don't think. And never played the game again. Until like 3 months later. Steve was like, look, Greg, they got rid of Legacy. They're on the Monolith now. Try the game out. I tried it. I don't know who I played as. But,
I feel like you played Murdoch.
yeah, something tells me. I played a lot of Murdoch at the beginning. And
Yeah, the thing is because he was the Call of Duty looking motherfucker.
yeah. And I played the game, and I just fell in love. Like, I don't know how else to put it. I just fell in love. Started playing every hero. Fell in love with supporting. I really, really like supporting, to be honest. And I ended up playing it. I ended up stopped playing Call of Duty entirely. I was fresh in university, and yeah, I just played it. And then I ended up playing Decker, and I played a lot of Decker. I honestly had 150 days played on Paragon. Like, I'm not joking. Like, when I say I've never played a game so much in my entire life, I mean it. Like, that was the game for me. And yeah, I even stopped talking to all my friends besides Steve. Like, I have all these online friends I would hang out with every day. I just stopped playing with them. And then eventually they were like, okay, we'll try Paragon out. And then I ended up getting a few of my Call of Duty friends to play Paragon, and they fell in love with the game too. And to this day, 2 of them will say it's the best game they ever played. Ever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And that is my story. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I started playing Paragon, that was what? It was the end of 2016. Because Overwatch had come out, and Battleborn had come out, and then I was hearing about this thing called Paragon. And it was the 3 big, hero, action, shooter, MOBA-esque team games from, like, the big 3, right? That I really cared about. Gearbox, Epic, and Blizzard. Got Battleborn, shit sucked. Got Overwatch, that shit was fun. Played a lot of Overwatch, and then I was like, what about that third one? Whatever happened with that? And so I looked it up, and it was called Paragon, and I was like, oh, geez. I looked into it, and it's like, okay, well, how much is it? It's like, oh, it's free. What the fuck? So I downloaded it, and I started playing it, and I was instantly, like, super captivated by the fact that it just felt like an action game, but it played like a MOBA. The map was huge. There was so much verticality and scale to it. It went up, it went down. The fighting was really interesting, and it was this game that no one knew that, existed, and it looked like I needed to like play it because I couldn't believe that it was free. I tried to get everyone into it. It was kind of slow to the roll. Greg got into it, and it just kind of took off from there. And Crunch was the last character to come out, and I never really played him that much until Monolith, and I just completely fell in love with him. And then Seraph came out, and I fell in love with her. Yeah, played it. And then when they announced that they were closing it, I was just like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? It was like we put up with so much shit and so many bad changes and bad calls just for them to be like, yeah, this isn't a sustainable game, so we're out. It's like, you motherfuckers.
Ichi, that's actually a really cool way. Did you see his way? So
Yeah, that's actually.
he just went looking essentially for small games. Because that's what he just likes to do. He did that, watch a game for a week, and ended up getting a key to play the game when it was closed beta and cost money.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, Ichi, don't worry. Version 42 came out, and my game time went down. I played maybe once a week.
They killed the game themselves. Like
I was gonna say, after version 42, didn't we have to? That was when me and Steve went over to Newfoundland to see you, and that's when we had to force you to play the game with.
Dude, I fucking hated it. I was so upset with the game.
And I think the first thing that we tried to show you was the updated Iggy.
Wow. They're actually coming out with a sequel to Hollow Knight, apparently, Itchy. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, I remember it's apparently in development, which is kind of cool. So, Chandler, how did you get into Fault?
So again, it'd be the same just through Steve, and so I had essay read. So a lot of the games that I've gotten into,
thank you,
especially earlier in life, I whatever it's called, I ended up finding out about them just by sitting around and seeing Steve play them. And I think the biggest thing that got me into it was just the visuals. Just like I could not, again, kind of like what Steve said, I could not believe a free game looked this good. Mind you, this is sort of around the same time, like, I kind of played Warframe a little bit on PS4, so it made sense to me that there were these free games that could look this good, but it was like, I don't know, just the concept, and obviously, I've always, and I mentioned this quite a bit, but I was always an extremely casual player when it came to all this. Like, I spent most of my time in bot matches, but it was just playing the game, just how it felt, just how smooth it was, how good it looked. It was all these things that just made it, like, even though I have like a stack of 25 PS4 games I could play, I was actively choosing to play this, like, Paragon majority of the time.
I have never seen a person play so many bot matches in my entire life until
well, that was the biggest thing. So, like, on top of everything, my laptop wasn't really that powerful, so I just found playing like online matches, it ended up like I was more of a hindrance than anything. So even just being able to play it on the go on my laptop, but just purely bot matches, just to get used to the game and just learning the mechanics. I mean, this was also around the same time Steven was really into both. It was Mortal Kombat and what was the other one? I think it was one of those early Persona fighting games where like just the concept of combos with controller was way over my head and I could never understand it. But with it being so much slower with a controller on Paragon, it was the mindset that like I just felt like I was every day getting a little bit better, just knowing what I had to do in each situation. So I just found it was an extremely rewarding game to play, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. It was. It's and for me too, it was like the first MOBA I ever played ever. So I was like super newbie at the game. I was a PS4 player. I didn't have a PS4 Pro, and it was just it like it is the reason why I tried out League of Legends after that. I didn't play a lot of League, to be honest.
No.
I should be fair. Like MOBAs, I played MOBAs. Paragon's more so the only MOBA I played. But yeah, and it was just awesome. It really was the MOBA for me, and it's taken my heart. And I remember, and the reason I found out about Fault actually, so I should probably say this. I don't think I've ever told anyone how I heard about Fault, to be honest. So I remember Paragon died, and I think I was talking with Steve about it, or definitely Crepton, one of the two, or maybe both of you, and I talked about the game, and then I went back and watched a video, one of the PCL matches. It was Reborn versus Oxygen. And I watched that, and then I just out of nowhere, I said, okay, they did release the assets. I'll look up games. So I just typed in whatever. I just typed in like Paragon Remake or something like that. And I found out about Fault. And this was in December. So I found out about Fault back in December. And I remember it was then I was like, I remember getting on the mic and being like, oh, no, because I heard about Phoenix Rising. Because I remember seeing something about Phoenix Rising. Way before Fault was. And so I was like, okay, maybe there's other ones. And then I found Fault. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I freaked out. And I had to tell Steve. I had to tell Cody. Cody's not here with us right now. And I told Chandler, of course, too. And yeah. And then I got their Indiegogo, the huge whatever pack they got. And then we're here. And I did not get to play in the holiday weekend or the Alpha 2. In fact, I couldn't even tell you when Alpha 2 was. I don't remember it happening. I don't even know if holiday weekend is Alpha 2 or there was one before that. I couldn't tell you. And but I got to play Alpha 3, and it was then that I knew that Fault was going to make it, because it was just so good. It was everything I wanted. It had that Paragon feel, but it was clearly different than Paragon when you actually play the game, if that makes any sense. And I think that's where they're going to do that. Steve, what do you think? Do you think that this is just a pipe dream, for example? While you're doing that, I'm going to catch up on the chat because I'm a bit behind.
Do I think Fault is a pipe dream?
Do you
What?
think, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did you think, when you first heard about Fault, did you think it was going to be another Phoenix Rising, which is dead now? Like, it doesn't exist.
Well, no. I always knew that someone would make it, right? And I always knew there were certain criteria that needed to be filled for me to actually really start believing it. Specifically, like an actual studio making it, not just some guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there needed to be organization for it. I needed to see gameplay. I needed to, you know what I mean? And like when I started seeing all
Steve's
that
also
stuff,
like a super skeptical guy. Like I'm one of those people. Like I'm like, yep, let's do it. Day one, I'll be like, yeah, I'm there. Steve's not like that.
I'm a very like everything is too good to be true kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have one person like that in your group. But if everyone is like getting down on everything, I feel like you just gotta. But long story, I'd like to think maybe sometimes like I have good ideas out of nowhere. And so I really started, believing when I was seeing all these things that Fault was actually trying to do and achieve. And I think, I mean, I'm not 100% convinced that this will be 100% what I want it to be. But that's just because I haven't played it yet, and I'm sure like the second I do play it, there's a good chance that I'll be like, okay, yeah, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, I always knew that it would happen. Like with all those assets out there, I knew there was going to be someone to pick those up and say, okay, let's make the game that Epic couldn't.
Mhm. It's true. It's and then that was the big thing, like with Epic too, right? Is they released the assets, so it was then and there that we knew, like we've talked about it, we knew that just because it wasn't good enough for Epic doesn't mean it wasn't going to be good enough for someone else. Like someone out there was going to pick it up and make this game successful, probably even more successful than Paragon was. Like in reality, if this early access goes well, the launch of free to play goes well, and as long as this game keeps developing and staying fresh at a natural pace, I don't see there being any chance of this game not being bigger than Paragon was. And Epic's a big name, so that's hard to beat. You know what I mean? Now we're not talking in a year; we're talking like 2 years down the road. I would love.
Yeah,
to
because
see
the biggest thing is just
500,000.
making it big enough on PC so that you can have that console release. Because that's going to be what makes or breaks Fault at the end of the day, is if it ever makes it onto console.
Oh,
And at
console's
that
gonna
point,
be a
it's
big deal.
obviously going to be like PS5 and whatnot.
Yeah.
But again, in order to get that, they need a very successful PC release.
Yeah, and they're gonna have it.
Yep.
Even when I was playing Overprime, like I was playing it, and there was even people in the chat. They were saying, "I'm only playing Overprime because it's the only Paragon thing I can play right now." Like, in all reality, I'm just waiting for Fault. Like, they got the support. They're there. It's gonna go. And it seems like Strange Matter's doing almost everything right to get to that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the exciting thing, just seeing them have such a strong base, seeing
Yeah.
it being built up the proper way rather than just throwing out whatever for the best.
Mm-hmm. I've made a lot of dumb choices, not with just heroes, just wasting resources. They didn't need to make characters' faces, change the card system, make a whole new map when they could have shrunk Legacy, proved that they could by the map changes in Monolith Jungle. These holiday themes mapped. I think I butchered what you said when I said it, but I understand what you're saying. Epic made a lot of, and this is essentially what Epic did. Oh, this isn't working the way we want it to, so let's just scrap it and make something new. What? That's not like the community was like, that's not what we're saying. Epic, come on now, come on, Cameron, listen.
Yeah, like they left us saying, "Hey, that was not very epic." You know what I mean?
I was
That's
dying
not.
a little bit on the
I didn't
inside.
know this was Mid Game Studios. I thought it was Epic
Yeah.
Game Studio.
Like, but also on top of that, they also have Fortnite, and that's the most successful game ever. So clearly, they did something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what do you mean successful?
Money.
You mean
They made the
money
most fucking
successful,
money.
or like heart successful?
I mean, you also got to think about it.
On that
Fortnite
note,
is
I'm
what
out.
kind of pushed all these battle royales. It's the reason why the newest Call of Duty has a battle royale.
Yeah.
So I mean, just in its own genre, you can't argue the fact that Fortnite wasn't successful.
Yeah, but they're profiting off of children.
Yes,
Manipulating the weak-minded.
that's called
That's
YouTube.
not-
Have you ever heard that?
That's
The
not
biggest
very,
YouTubers that make the most money,
cash
it's off
money.
of kids.
Itchy, they did
That's-
do that.
That's not very cash money of them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because anyone can manipulate a child.
Yeah.
It's easy. Okay? You just say, hey, check out these V-Bucks.
Oh my goodness.
Like, and the kids are like, oh, fuck! Give me that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fucked up. You know what I mean? I don't trust anyone under the age of 18 with money. Okay? Even at that age, okay? I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to spend money until you're 25
Steve,
Jesus
you're not
Christ.
25.
No.
because
None of us
I
are
know
25.
I'm not even saying I spend money well. I'm just saying no one under the age of 25
Oh,
properly spends their money.
oh,
Okay?
Yeah, but that's just a symptom of just not learning those basic
capitalistic
skills.
communication. Bro.
Capitalism, more like
Oh,
capitalism.
Oh god.
Okay, we're just gonna leave it there because Steve will go.
Abort.
Like,
Abort.
This is a different.
Capitalism.
Steve will go crazy. Or we don't need to hear this. And he will. If you ever want to sit down and talk about capitalism for 6 hours, S.A. Reed is your man.
Your guy. I'm your guy.
You should launch one of those the Twitch channels that's just chat and just debate with people for hours.
Debate with random scrubs on the internet. No. This is why it's bad. And people are like literally like
Is that what it
posting
means to be
shit
a
with old men in the chat. And I'm
philosopher,
like,
though?
no.
I just.
I'm gonna let you guys finish up the last 10 minutes. I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
What do you mean
Okay.
last 10? We have an hour.
No, the last 10 minutes of Act 2, bitch.
Yeah, I see what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our story of Paragon is we played a lot. So I didn't play much with Chandler actually. We would try
No.
here and there. But
Well, because you
Chandler-
and Steven were always playing more of the like serious games.
Oh, 100%. Me and Steve took every game serious always. Well, now we didn't dodge. We weren't dodgers.
No.
But we found Agora.gg and that was it for us. We were there. We were there and we were playing. And I remember playing, and I remember starting, and I was so bad. I couldn't hit my shots. I didn't even know how these abilities works. What's rotating? What's CS? Like I didn't understand any of this.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of videos. I watched a lot of Mongoose back in the day. And then I started watching on Twitch. So then I started watching a lot of Suki. And I started watching a lot of Phasma once he started getting a bit bigger on Twitch. And yeah, so then I started playing. And then I ended up making it somewhere in Platinum. And Platinum, like, I'm going to put this way. I had more fun playing at the Gold Elo than I ever did at the Platinum or Diamond Elo. And the reason for that is, number one, the second you would hit Platinum, the queue times would triple. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the second you hit Diamond, the queue times would go up like 6 times. And
Yep.
that's when you get all these dodgers. People are worried about team comps. And like, yes, there was a internal matchmaking system in Paragon, but it also was just casual. Like they never had a ranked mode. They probably should.
I think
the other problem was why so many people dodged in a competitive stance is that the game was never balanced to a point where realistically you could have a half an hour game. Like think about Paragon, like how often were you stuck in these higher tier games playing for a minimum hour in one match?
Oh, it was happening. I used to play one game an hour at most. Once,
Yeah,
like,
easily.
and we're talking low plat, like, and like it's not. I never made it to master, and master people were waiting 3 hours at some moments in the game. You know what I mean? Like 3 hours, really, for a casual game.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't casual in all reality, but. Will the game have support for ultra-wide monitors? Jonah, I would say it would, but I wouldn't be able to tell you that question right off the top of my head. But give me 5 seconds, and I'll ask the question. I'm going into Strange Matter Discord now.
I would imagine, like, just with, like, today's games, they'd want it to that same standard. I guess you have no way of knowing until you hear the horse's mouth.
Yeah. 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 No, Ichi, like, it's good, right? So the problem is that it was in Paragon. What the problem? To be honest, what I think the problem was with the matchmaking was our matchmaking system was flawed. 50% of people were in silver. You know what I mean? So over half of the Paragon community was in silver. So finding a game in gold and silver, easy. But then once you get the plat, we're now talking only 20% of the population. And then once you get the diamond, we're talking 2% of the population. And then when you're getting to master, we're talking 100 people. That's it. You know what I mean? So, like, obviously that kind of makes sense. But where the problem was, in my opinion, is that in silver there was too big of a population. So to where, you know how in they needed to do something differently. You know what I mean? And there needed to be a different, like, what games have done since then is League of Legends now has an iron division. No one was really a bronze player in Paragon. You know what I mean? Being a bronze player, you had to lose a lot. You know what I mean?
It had to be me.
So you just they needed to make it so that people would actually go into the category that they were, because like maybe 50% of the population was silver, but that means within silver they needed to have silver 1, silver 2, silver 3, you know, all this stuff to really better match people. But they didn't have that because it was casual. Like, even if they had internal matchmaking, they didn't have that. Like, I'm talking a ranked play, that's what they do. You know what I mean? But they never introduced a ranked play. It was just really unfortunate that the higher up you got, the less you would play. Which, it's usually vice versa, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah, how can I get out of silver? You just had to play good. That's it. Just had to play good. There's no other way to put it. Like, you know, like if you're solo queue,
Have at least a 2 or 3 stack.
yeah.
That was the other difficult thing. The only way to be competitive was to have at least a 3 stack.
Oh gosh. Not always.
Like solo queue just was painful.
Yeah, and that's what League of Legends has actually attacked that issue very hard, because even in casual they have a solo/duo queue mode and then a team mode.
But they also have the player base to be able to have that many queues.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do. But
and that's going to be the toughest challenge just here at the beginning. If you only have, let's say, 10,000 concurrent players per week, it's kind of like Smite. Like with their matchmaking is probably going to be pretty close to the matchmaking fault at launch.
As long as I have the player base, all these ideas are probably going to happen. But they can't restrict people. That's the one thing internal matchmaking does, is it racks up queue times, and it makes some people feel like they're always playing a competitive match even when they're playing casual.
Well, that's a huge symptom right now in Valorant. Queue times.
Yeah.
I mean, what's his face? Shroud hitting the top rank and then waiting 45 minutes to get into a game.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be a thing.
Maybe if they had an extra rank like coal, copper, bronze, silver. Oh, 100%.
No.
But the thing is, Ichi, is how do I word this? If people are quote unquote losing and winning, they shouldn't all be in silver. You know what I mean? Like, they just shouldn't be. Like, some should move up to gold, some should move down to bronze. You know, like, it shouldn't be that they win, lose, and they just stay in silver. No. They should, you know, keep going up and up and up and up.
Well, that ends up being the problem. You win one game, then you lose your next game, but then you win the next game, but then you lose your next.
Yeah, but usually if you lose more than you win, unless you're a new player, brand new.
Yeah.
So, and that's wise, so that they can like make a difference. They can show a difference.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Anywho, we're 3 minutes away. Do you just want to make that break start there now? We kind of, spitball the last little bit. We're just taking a 10 minute, I suppose.
Hey, what? We're taking a break?
Yeah, 10-minute break. I put a 10-minute break in there.
Are we able to just make it a 5-minute break?
We can make it 5 minutes. Let's make it
Yeah,
5.
I
Hang on.
don't think we need a massive break, anyways. Just enough to stretch. Because we're already at technically 2 hours. Because we had
Yeah.
the first 15 was whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just the stream starting soon, so we still have 1 more hour to go.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're just going to take a quick break. We've been talking for 2 hours, and it's a lot to do. I want to show you guys a really cool intro I made for this. I want to see what your guys' opinion is about it. So that's what I'm going to do. hello, hello. I am here. Is anyone else here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Steve's gonna be another 5 minutes, I would say. Okay, cool. So let's get this rolling. Hey, what a flippity flap though! This is Stranger or Big Moose, and we're here with Faultarian Journal number 6, guys. We're here with Act 3, the final act. When we first started doing these acts, guys, they were 6 hours long. We're not doing that no more. We're trying to keep it at 3 hours. We're trying to give it a 3. We think we can get more talked about in that allotted amount of time, and as we go closer and closer to the date, maybe it'll get longer. But until then, this is what we're gonna do. So for Act 3, we have the Trello and its updating, audio and visual cues, and competitive. And we also have an extra topic there of overrated or underrated heroes. That was a topic that we actually had last week, but we never ended up getting to it, so it's there again. And we have it not on there, but we do have also an idea about a bit of lore. That would be a good idea. Not sure if we're going to get to that, though. That'll be the last one, if anything.
Yo, before we start up, we got anyone getting lit in the chat?
Jesus.
I literally heard you crack a beer. And then I heard you say this.
I am.
All right.
There we go.
Anywho, thank you, Chi. I'm glad you liked it.
This is the content you come for. Those two to be serious and me to be dumb.
So, Steve and Chandler, please reintroduce yourselves.
I'm Messy Reed. Best crunch mean you'll ever see.
And yeah, I'm at Gotta Get Swole. Casual player extraordinaire.
Casual player extraordinaire. That's actually really cool. I really like that. So,
Big Boots. I think one stream we should all introduce ourselves as someone else. That would be fun.
okay, let's do it.
Now, next stream, I'll introduce myself as Chandler. Chandler introduced himself as Greg. And Greg, you gotta be me.
Sounds good.
Okay. I'll make a note of that in the chat.
Okay. So, anywho, for our first topic there, we have the Trello and its updating. So what I wanted to, so for anyone that doesn't know what the Trello is, Strange Matter has a Trello page that basically talks about all their ideas and goals for the game, for what they have. So like the later goals are a bit more open-minded and all that stuff. Went by Kidda. Support mid player, can fill jungle and do well. Just no carry, please. Oh, is that what you mean? That's what you would go by there, Ichi? Is that what you mean? I think that's what he means, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, so they have a Trello page with all these cool ideas, and it shows what they've accomplished, what they haven't accomplished, so on and so forth. So while this gameplay comes up, I'm just going to bring up that Trello. So the thing why I wanted to talk about the Trello, guys, is because what I've been seeing a lot in the general chat recently is a lot of people will be like, hey, I looked at your Trello, when is it going to be updated? Because it's not updated. And then I haven't really seen a good response. I saw one response that they'll update it once they get some of this stuff complete. You know what I mean? Well, which is a good way to put it. But I just wanted to say, so because of this delay, and I don't know if anyone else, maybe I'm the only person like this, but I want every crumb of information that I can get about Fault. Always. I'm greedy. I want to know everything.
I mean, to be fair, that like even in the Discord, like I'm sure they've had to see so many people saying like genuinely people do not care about the delay, they just want updates.
Yeah. That's the big thing. We like our updates. And there just hasn't been that many updates recently. The last little bit, because there's like this just huge transition, which is understandable. Like logically it makes sense. You know what I mean? But still doesn't stop my need and want. It's not really a need. It still doesn't I still want updates, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the Trello page is a fantastic way to do that.
Yeah.
But it's not updated very often at all. And that, I think their Trello page, yes, that small Twin Blast update was fantastic. Like, I'm glad they're doing that. And Huddy GTV is the one that's been making these designs for that stuff. I think Balix has been helping him out because Balix is the marketing designer, but Huddy's been the one working on them. He's worked on a few of them on stream, and so I know. So I know he also has a Countess one that he was working on. I've seen before, and a Severog one. So we should be seeing those as the days come on. Yeah, little stuff. I just think the Trello page is a fantastic way to keep the community engaged without even having to make a tweet. All you got to do is update your Trello page. It's just as simple as that. And but I just wanted to see what your guys' point of view is from Steven Chandler, from face value, without knowing any external information Strange Matter has said about it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it should be updated, or it should just be updated whenever they feel like updating it? Or do you think like it's a good idea as a would you as a consumer love to know that that gets updated and being able to go on it every week, let's say?
Yeah, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable if I think like, well, I think from a general consumer it kind of makes sense, and especially the position that Strange Matter are in. It just gives people a bit more feeling like, okay, there's someone there. You know what I mean? When you're trying to create a foundation and get your name out there and be trusted, you need to have presence.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, I'm also fans of bands like Death Grips and Black Midi who don't talk ever, and then they just like release shit just randomly. You know they're cooking, but it's because you have that long term. Okay, it's very legit what they've been doing. But I don't think Strange Matter are there yet. You know what I mean? I think they can get there. I don't think that there's anything in the way other than time. You know what I mean? So having that updated very consistently, I think it's not necessary, but I think it would go a long way in helping people believe that they're going to be very transparent.
Yeah. And don't get me, and that now, guys, I was taking it at face value. So we're starting there, and we're gonna work our way up. And I kind of got a little plan for this. So Chandler, what do you think about it?
I mean, again, so for me personally, I'm always going to think about, okay, so where are they putting their resources? Because it always comes down to resource management. And I know you guys are going to say, oh, well, a quick little update isn't a big deal and it's just a simple click. But at the same time, if you're constantly worried about making updates and making little teasers and this and that's, like, it's just about, personally for me, whatever it's called, just allocating your resources into the most important place. So if you never have to worry about giving some big update and you just have all the time to just focus on work and just making your product better, then maybe you get a better product out of it. Because again, obviously, it'll be a completely different conversation when the game actually comes out, like whether it be early access or full release. Like that's when I'm going to want, like once you have my dollar, I'm going to want a little more transparency. And that's probably like you being an Indiegogo backer, you kind of want more out of them because you've already invested into the company and the game. But for somebody like me who's just excited for it to come out and I haven't invested anything other than my time, I'm not too worried about knowing everything that's going on, but I can definitely respect the direction you guys are kind of coming at with, like, just transparency equals confidence in the product.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. Like, there's tons of things I've been excited for outside of video games where it's just, if you have transparency, you're more likely to back them.
It's true.
But again, that's just kind of my opinion.
So people have asked about it. Like I saw it earlier today in the Discord, and I saw it 2 or 3 times yesterday, and 2 or 3 times the day before. So that's why I kind of made it a little thing, is because it's clear that there is not just one person or 10 people. Because if there's 10 people talking in the Discord, that means there's another 100 that are looking at the Trello page, seeing if it's updated. And when it's not updated, and there's people that
Greg
are
loses
reading-
his shit.
No. It's think about it this way: you're someone that's in the Discord. You're in the Discord. You backed Core. Core had a delay. They now have gone silent, but yet they still say the game's in development, but it isn't, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's you join Overprime. They say they have Korean servers, but they can't put them out because hackers. That's actually what they said. Even though no one's playing on those servers. So anywho, and then you come into Fault. So what I'm trying to say is number 1 and number 2 sound kind of sketchy, kind of thing. And then you're coming into Fault. They just had a delay. All your fears and insecurities of Core are starting to hit you right in the side of the head. Yeah, just to know you're alive. Yeah. But for the most part, they've been they've been fantastic. They've been doing an update like every week, some small thing, and then a dev stream once a month. And way before Alpha 3, they were doing dev streams a lot more than once a month for Fault. And all that stuff. And so that's happening, right? So this Trello page is one of the many avenues of people that look at that to get their motivation flowing during this Corona time, to gain that confidence, to keep going and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the biggest thing, the unfortunate timing of everything shutting down and everyone having so much more spare time.
Yeah.
It puts a lot more pressure onto these developers because everyone just wants to play a game. So
yeah. I'm also of the point, like, not everyone has a Twitter. So they put out like a Twitter thing today, but not everyone has a Twitter. Not everyone has Instagram, whatever it may be. So
yeah, I was going to say they put the Twin Blast thing on Instagram as well.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So it would just be. I just feel like the Trello page is another media forum, another media platform to keep the game rolling. If that makes any sense, to keep the your target demographic engaged.
Yeah,
is a good way to put it. But for some reason, they keep putting it on the back burner, but the Trello page is different. It's not meant to be. It doesn't seem like it's fully meant to be like a hype factor, like a Twitter page is. But I'd love to see the updates and the changes, and so on and so forth. And there's clearly people out there that they turn to the Trello page to get their information. Hey, Krypton, how are you? That Krypton is Cody. He is the best mechanical player in all of PC gaming. And that's a true fact. Yeah. So, and console gaming. But console gaming's confirmed. PC gaming, I'm just gassing him. Yeah, so I would just love to see that. And like obviously Strange Matter is not Core or anything like that. They're obviously still making the game. Like that is very apparent. You know what I mean? But and that's apparent to me because I'm active in the Discord. But if I'm someone that's not active or not even in the Discord at all, that just sees their Twitter page, it's not as apparent to me, kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like for some reason it's left in the dust. And Chandler made a good point about resources, but they have certain people that are a part of their media team that don't know how to code. So I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I get you. Like it's the mindset that obviously everyone is in code and not everyone is on the game. So if they just had one person that was in control, just giving updates every once in a while.
And they have people, like, I'm pretty sure that's all they do, is their sole job is to keep the hype going.
Yeah.
And they obviously can't, like, I'm not saying, show me what the new map looks like. Like, come on.
No,
Be real. Like, I'm a realistic person. Like, don't, we can't be doing that. But yeah, just little stuff like that, you know what I mean?
But I think to a certain extent, it keeps the hype up not knowing things because it keeps you going back every single day to that Discord to make you want to see an update.
That's true.
That's the other side of it. Like, sometimes less is more.
Sometimes less is more.
Every once in a while. Not with everything, but sometimes.
Yeah. So that's what I just wanted to talk about. I really wish they would update it a bit more. It might just be something small, but it'd be really nice to see what they got planned.
Well, again, that's just the biggest thing. Again, like, when you've paid for something, well, technically you're just supporting them. Indiegogo, you didn't pay for the game, even though you will get it for free.
Indiegogo is different. It is crowdfunding.
Yeah.
It is different. Unless they could release the game, and it could be the worst game ever, and I won't get my money back. But if they don't release the game, I will get my money back.
Yep.
So, but they have to release something. That's like a part of the rules in Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Yeah. But imagine, I just. So Chandler is of the mindset, I guess is a good way to put it, that he would love to, especially once the money starts. So once early access essentially occurs, and they start taking money from people's pockets. Oh, 100% itchy. I deleted the game twice already. I gave it 2 shots. I don't know if I'm going to give it a third. Yeah. What am I trying to say? Chandler's of the perspective, once he is an actual consumer, he would very much want to get his money's worth, and stuff like that is a part of that.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference for me. It's as soon as my dollar's been taken, that's when I may want some updates. But as of right now, with not having any real investment into the game, it doesn't bother me enough to care that I'm not getting constant updates.
Yeah. And realistically, I think I'm just being impatient. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's all it is.
Well, you are just naturally impatient.
I'm...
Damn.
Listen.
That's fucked up, man. I didn't
Well,
say
it's not a
that.
bad thing. I mean,
I am impatient,
we all have our traits.
I didn't say it, Greg.
That's okay, man. I know it. It's
Chandler
okay.
said it, man.
Disrespectful.
That's fucked up, bro. We gonna kick you off the stream, bro.
No.
Damn.
Whoa.
That's we gotta vote,
I don't
Greg.
even joke about that.
We gotta vote.
We can take him out.
No, not after.
Chandler votes himself off.
Yeah. Been waiting for this day.
Hell yeah, I can finally get out democratically. They can't be mad at me. Anyways.
Anywho.
Jesus Christ.
My final opinion on it. Stranger's opinion. It is a point of contact that should be updated as regularly as their Twitter page should be. Steve, what is your final opinion on it?
My answer is in the chat.
Okay, and Chandler, what's your final opinion on it?
As long as they're still active in the Discord and at any point I could go in there, ask a question, and get some type of answer, that's enough for me.
Okay, you're just not needy like I am. Cool.
Yeah, I'm more with Chan.
Damn, it really is just me. I thought it was just me, but it's okay.
Hey,
But again, you're not the only one. Like, we've seen in the Discord enough people who are of the same mindset that they just want more updates.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not like you're the only person. There's enough people out there that want it. I'm just under the mindset that like I'd rather finish the game than give me an update every
Yeah.
week.
But I've been
Yo,
playing
the
a lot of
game
Final
crashed.
Fantasy, so
Your
like
gameplay.
my life. What?
Your gameplay crashed. You see that?
What do you mean it crashed?
Or the minions stopped moving in your game.
Anybody else game freeze?
That's 'cause- oh yeah, look at that.
Hell yeah, bro. Oh.
Okay, so our next thing there is audio and visual cues. Guys,
We need.
I need to know when I'm getting hit and when someone's hitting me.
You see, I didn't play the weekends. They don't have like the. If you get shot, they don't have like the ding.
No, they don't.
Oh.
But again, like I don't
What
want
the
them to
fuck?
go something as aggressive as what Overprime did, where your whole screen shakes.
Oh, the screen shake is wild.
That's what I mean. Like I want just audio. I don't know how much like having a little bit of red around your screen is nice, but I don't want to feel like my whole earth has been shook because somebody did a basic attack on me.
Yeah. Wait, can you say that again? I kind of.
Oh, I was just saying I don't want to feel like the entire earth is shaking
Oh,
just because I'm
100%.
getting hit with a basic attack.
100%. You don't want to feel like the whole earth is shaking. Last thing you want is to have Narbash beating his drums not only in game but on your monitor. You know what I mean? You want to be able to know what you're doing. I don't want to get Batista bombed every time I get hit with an auto ability.
I
Kinda
think.
thing.
I think we can all agree. There's only one thing of ours that we want Narbash beaten. Hey, up top. Hey, are we connected? Do you want
Are you
to?
trying to talk about what's under his underbelly?
No, I wanted to beat my ass, man.
Okay. Anywho,
Jesus Christ.
Steve, you're a weirdo, but that's okay. Yeah. Okay. So essentially, I need audio cues. In fact,
Yeah.
like, I want audio cues more than I want a new character. I know that sounds crazy, and some people are gonna be like, "What? That's blasphemous to say that." But like, a new character is gonna improve the game. But
Yeah, just quality of life.
But these
Is more
audio
important.
cues is like, it makes every character better, not just this one character kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah, I just that is the big thing. And what I would love to see for some audio cues is, of course, I want to know when you get hit. I want to know when I'm hitting. I would also love to see, and they did have this, I do have to say, Fall had this, is I really enjoyed when I was hitting people, I could see the damage. So, like, if I was hitting them with ability damage, it would show up blue. But if I was hitting them with basic, it would show up red. Purple if it was the purple faction, so on and so forth. And hearing Kalaru's voice, exactly, like that stuff, like, that's the stuff that really matters to people. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It is a proven fact that audio cues make a player better. Like, I don't know if anyone knows that, but like, there's actual science out there that says if you hear yourself hitting your shots, you're gonna hit more shots instead of missing, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of like how when you're working, you have music playing in the background because it keeps your workflow higher, in a sense. It keeps your energy levels higher, kind of thing. So that's the one thing. I also just want to be able to know, like, sometimes, like, I just doze off, or I'm looking too much at my mini map or whatever it may be, and an audio cue would help me know when I'm getting hit. I would also, when it also comes to audio and visual cues, I'd love to know, like, what am I saying? Some of the stuff is already implemented, but stuff like, obviously knowing how much health you have, how much mana you have, knowing how fast it's coming back and regenning. If my teammate dies, if we get the Raptors, if they grab Orb Prime. So I would really like to see when Orb Prime's taken. Because sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't in Alpha 3 weekend. I would hear Ore Prime was taken, or whatever they would say. The enemy has taken Ore Prime. But I would love to see it show up on my screen like, watch the fuck out. They took it. Hang on to your seats. It's about to be a bumpy ride, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Chandler, what do you think? What makes, when you played Paragon, when it came to audio and visual cues, what really made the game feel more immersive for you?
Just responses, just feeling like you were part of the environment rather than playing, just like, I don't know. It's kind of in the question itself. It's the immersion. So again, it's not just everything at face value and what you can take in from what you see. It's just having the full, like being able to see it, hear it, and I mean with controllers, with the vibration, you were able to feel it. So you had some type of haptic feedback, but just anything that can be added to help make you feel like you're part of the game.
Didn't all characters have a basic audio cue? Because Murdoch definitely did. Sparrow.
No. Ichi means like when Kalari would attack, she would make little grunt sounds.
Oh yeah.
Crunch didn't have that. Seraph didn't have that.
No,
Faye didn't have that.
They didn't.
Like making a vocal sound. I think Feng Mao did.
Yes, he did.
Rampage did.
Yeah, Rampage did, because you would.
That's actually weird for me to think about. How like there were very few characters that were vocal.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I remember Steel and Grux. Okay, yeah, fluid animation is a really big thing. That's just a quality of life. Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, if I want to play a game 8 hours a day, and like, if I don't get some solid fluid animation, I won't do it. Like, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII, and it's super fluid, and it runs on PS4 pretty fantastically. And like, I would love to see that kind of movement, that kind of animation, that kind of hit detection, all that stuff. I also would love to know what it is that Strange Matter's using for autos. So are they using hit scan, or are they not, kind of thing? I forget what the other one's called. Do you guys know what it's called off the top of your head? Holy shit. Hang on. Anonymous! I don't know who you are.
I got a gift.
Thank you.
Sub. What
Holy crap!
fuck?
5 gifted subs.
Yo, thanks, Anonymous.
Hey,
Anonymous.
Wow.
Greg, now you really got to get emotes.
Ah, fuck.
Boy.
Man, I just got my overlays.
Whatever it's called, those little emblems, you can put those at least. Those
Yeah, for
three, the
now.
3 colors,
Yeah.
Yo, that's lit. Thanks.
just to have those.
Thank you,
What
Anonymous. I don't know who you are, but I really appreciate it.
What an odd name,
Wow.
an anonymous gifter. That's very coincidental.
No. You can
Yo,
you can gift subs anonymously, is what it is.
They aren't in chat anymore. That's odd. Why'd they just pop in and then just drop the...
Grow up.
Steve, we're trying to have a real discussion about video games. Come on now.
Bro. I'm making a little meme, okay?
This is big boy talk now.
Wow. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are, but
But that's the point.
Cody, was that you? I'll talk to you after the stream. We'll get into the PS4 chat. Okay? If it was, thank you. Anywho, so let's get back to that. I lost all train thought. My head kind of exploded for a second. Wow. Wow. Audio-visual cues, we're talking about something about fluidity, correct? Yes. Okay, so we got fluidity. I really want to see fluid motion, fluid hitting. Like, I remember one thing in Alpha 3 that really triggered me, and it was something so small, but it really mattered to me because I played a lot of Narbash. Is sometimes I would throw the thunks, and they just weren't smooth. Like I don't know how to word it. You have to play Narbash and Paragon to understand what I'm saying. When he threw the thunk, it just didn't spin the way it was supposed to spin, kind of thing. It felt like time was stopping in midair. I don't know if that was me dropping frames or the servers were dropping frames or whatever it was, but that was happening. Oh, thank you for the follow reactor. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Oh boy. Okay, so let's see what he says.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Two very good points in the chat there.
Ooh.
Tackle one at a time, I think.
So, Chandler, do you want to tackle what Jonas said there? And I'm going to read what Ichi said. Chandler?
I
What?
hear Chandler's microwave being ignited.
What?
You want to tackle Jonas' point there? Oh, what he said? We'll let you start there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing. There's a lot of people that don't really understand the process going into it, because again, like, there wasn't that many people who played, let's say, after version 42 who were there during, let's say, Paragon Alpha and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't realize that, like, when you're creating something that is your own, there is a cost to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that we learned, that, like, again, I always thought it was an assumption, but turns out it's nowhere close to the truth. Like, yes, all those assets were given out, but not all of the assets were finished assets. Not all of them functioned properly. Like, yes, people seem to think, like, the general public who just doesn't know the nitty-gritty details about it just assume that the full playable game was released in the assets and you could just copy and paste it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is not at all the reality of what Strange Matter had. And that's kind of why they're doing this overhaul, and why I'm excited
Jonah,
to see what they create.
I
Because again,
actually see your point, and it is a fair point. Especially at face value. So, like, if you get in depth with it, obviously you'll be able to say, well, in the assets didn't release the coding, so they had to recode it, and time is money, and so on and so forth. So when you get deep into it, yeah, they should be able to charge. It's no big deal. But at face value consumer that doesn't know all that information, that, let's say, just heard about Fault, that's a fair point. And so I think with this new map that they're coming out with, and this new overhaul that's coming, the thing is ever so slowly, Fault is moving farther and farther away from what Paragon was, slowly, with keeping, like, the core Paragon feel kind of thing, if that makes any sense. So, like, in this gameplay you're currently seeing, there is no passives on these characters besides Steel. Steel was the only character with a passive. Actually, Boris had one too, but no one played him because he sucked. But now every character has a passive. Like, that's one thing that's unique. And they're talking about this new map, these new buffs, so on and so forth. And the thing also, Jonah, is early access is different. So full release, it is going to be free. That they have committed to that they are going to make it they are going to make full release free to play. But early access is essentially just another way to support, is what it is. Like, there is a closed alpha version in Paragon that you had to pay for example, too. Same thing with League of Legends. Like, I was going to say, this is like the model Paragon, that a lot of MOBAs adopt.
With Paragon, one of the early access, like, founder packs was straight up $100 Canadian.
It was, yeah. It was, yeah. So in early access is just a way to support Strange Matter, is the best way I would say it. It's there to show your support. and to help them move forward so that maybe one day Strange Matter can be a full-fledged company of the sorts. One that, could not saying that they're not a company, but one that people can do it as their job, kind of thing. It puts the food on the table, kind of thing. And I think that's where it has to be. Yeah, but if for some reason you don't want to pay for it, full release is going to come around. It's probably going to be another year. In all reality, it's probably going to be another year until full release. But you will not have to pay, kind of thing, and that is what makes Fault different than the rest of them. But the thing is, Jonah, on top of that, you say it's what makes them different, and this is just my opinion. You can disagree with me, obviously, of course, and I'd love to hear what you think. One Fault, you're right. That is what makes Fault different for now. But Overprime will not be able to have servers without taking some kind of money from people, because servers cost money.
Yeah.
People, if they want to, if someone wants to make a game full time, they need money to survive and to have a solid quality of life. It's the same thing. It's the world we live in. People need money to do this stuff, and they need to be able to monetize it somehow. You know what I mean? And from the way I look at it, if I can give all the devs a full-time job, for Fault, well, that means they have more time to make a better Fault. You know what I mean? To grow it. Like, it's giving me, it only benefits. It benefits both parties, kind of thing. In a sense. That's how I look at it. Chandler seemed like he had a point there, so I'll just let Chandler go at it.
Well, again, yeah, that's just the biggest thing. And again, it's just with having the map be a quote-unquote placeholder. Again, they want to make their own game because it's a little bit, I'm sure, for the devs, it's a little bit of pride to be able to have a product and everyone be able to exclusively look at it like, hey, yeah, no, that does look reminiscent like Paragon, but it is its own game. Like, being able to put your stamp on a game and your take and it feel exclusive to you is what much more rewarding than just copy and pasting somebody else's work and just putting it in a different font, let's say.
Yeah. Well, that's
being able to have something that's uniquely yours.
Yeah, and they're obviously starting with the assets. You know what I mean? But they plan on moving away from it as we can see as time, and with someone that's been keeping along since essentially Fault was officially announced when Strange Matter decided to announce it to the world. I remember. You can see that they've been slowly but surely making this their own game. It's not the same as Paragon, to say the least, to where Overprime feels like Legacy on crack with zero balancing. I actually don't like talking about Overprime, guys. It only gets my goat going.
Overprime is kind of like when you have a bad nightmare about what you think Paragon will be. And then you say, oh shit, this is real.
Yeah. It's something. But that's the thing. That's the thing. And that's my opinion, you know what I mean? But I'm also one of those people, like, I have no problem giving Strange Matter my money. I have zero problem whatsoever. Just take my fucking money so I can play the game already, you know what I mean? But for some other people, like, let me put it this way: if I was 16, and I only had a part-time job at McDonald's, let's say, I'm in high school. I don't have any money because of the coronavirus and stuff. I would have a very difficult time being able to be like, look, I know it's only $20 or $15 with the promotion, but it's still $15. You know what I mean? Like that would actually be hard for me because $15 is 3 McDouble meals. You know what I mean? Like, Um, and this is like real shit. Like when you have that little bit of when you have that teenager money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's where I can see it being an issue. And like, obviously, it's like, well, you can just wait for early. You can just wait for full release. Well, I really don't want to. I just might have to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hell yeah. What's the link to your YouTube channel? I'll check it out. Just
Jonah,
put it in chat or whatever.
Put it in the chat. We'll look into it. I don't know Spanish. I know French. But I don't know Spanish. I'll look into it seriously.
Well, Greg, didn't you know fucking French and Spanish is like the exact same thing?
No, they're not.
So
They're
you'll
like
be-
40% of French is in Spanish. So like I'll understand every 4 sentence. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yo, Ichi is.
Oh, he's
That's
right.
not just teenagers. That's young adults as well, my dude.
Yeah. Okay.
I got dozens of packs of Mr. Noodles in my fucking cupboard, bro. Like, you gotta be all inclusive.
Typically, I buy Mr. Noodles by the case now. I don't buy it by the package.
Alright, real shit. How do you make your noodles, Chan?
Noodles? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's minimum 2 packages every single time.
You're
You
fucking
boil
gross.
that water up. You boil till
Nah,
it's
boil
burnt.
water.
Jonah, I just wanted to let you know the last thing you were, if you thought, was ignorant. By the way, like, not even close. Like, if that that's a fair point in my opinion. Like,
I mean, we
That's-
always invite very strong opinions. We like that.
in fact, I didn't say this. I always say it too. Anywho, we'll do it next time. If anyone ever just wants to come in and actually join the voice chat and talk on stream, you're welcome to do that. We're getting to the end of the stream now, so we're probably not going to do it this time. But
Yeah, we do have a Discord there in the bottom, so if anyone wants to come in, just talk about it. If, like, you just don't want to, like... It's kind of like when you're in the actual Strange Matter Discord, sometimes it's like raising your hand in the auditorium and you don't want people to look at you like you're stupid. But with us being a nice, smaller community, sometimes it's a little bit easier raising your hand when it's just a small group and you're able to kind of get that information.
Yeah, when you're part of a group that probably knows as much as you do, it's a lot easier when you're working with like theory and speculation, right?
yeah.
And opinion, and that's kind of what we're all going on. So like, never be afraid of saying something and then like coming off as ignorant, because like we're all trying to learn here. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So
And if you want to come here and say some rude ass shit, do it. As long as I'll time you out if that's what it means. I'll do it. Don't care. You know what I mean? I invite all opinions. that's just how I'll say it, I guess. So the last thing we have is we got competitive. That is the final topic. We have a few extra, but it doesn't look like we're gonna get to them. Oh, Justin, or Just Machine. I am the machine. Thank you for following. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you've been enjoying the stream. So we're going to talk about competitive for a little bit. So Chandler is the most casual player ever.
Yes, sir. That's me.
Which is actually a really important point of view when it comes to competitive, even though people might think, no, it's not. I'm always a competitive guy. I always follow the scene, all that stuff. Even if I'm not playing it, I just like, I enjoy being the sweater. A full sweaty. I enjoy doing that stuff. And Steve kind of enjoys doing that also. But Steve knows how to be a bit more casual than I do, I think. So,
fuck did you just say? I take this shit serious.
Listen. So, Chandler, this was your point about competitive, wasn't it? No, this was Steve's point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was me.
Steve, want to start it up?
Listen, man.
Oh,
Okay.
and for whoever asked about the ultra-wide monitors, I had Jester ended up replying to me in the general chat there, and he just said they haven't actually thought about doing that yet, but they're going to add it to their list of things to look into.
Hey.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Like making points, like just to go off on a tangent. It's so important that people say what they want to say, even if it sounds toxic or whatever, because it's stuff like that wasn't on their table to look into, but now it is, so that they can help those people that have the ultra wide monitors. You know what I mean? Like it's so important to do that and say that. And that's kind of what I love about Strange Matter, is that they're here, they're being super transparent. I had a fucking founder just respond to me and tell, like literally, like the COO of Strange Matter essentially just responded to me and said, we'll add it to the list. Thank you for making up that point. So whoever made that point, I don't exactly remember who it is now. I think it was Jonah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because like now they're going to look into it and it's going to get supported. I can guarantee that. Probably in a few months what's going to happen.
Yep.
Anywho,
If it isn't there at early access, then it'll definitely be a patch soon after, I'm sure.
yeah. Anywho, I'm going to shut up now. Steve, you have the stage.
Yeah. This was more like just an extremely speculative idea that I had, but I was just sort of thinking about competitive play and the focus on competitive, and how that can divide a community, and whether it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, the pros and cons, and the dangers of leaving behind the casual fan base. And it doesn't even and I'm not even talking about like strictly just the competitive group. I'm also talking about like, I guess something to be always wary of is how much gatekeeping gets done when it comes to a community, and what's expected of players, how you help players out and all that kind of stuff.
I wish you could see, but I'm raising my hand. What do
Gregory?
you mean by gatekeeping?
Okay. What's a good example?
I was
So,
gonna say I understand what you mean, but I wouldn't even know how to explain it.
like,
It's definitely more a term used in the music industry.
yeah, because like in music, it's like one of those things where, for example, I started collecting records in 2016, and I always used to hate going into my local record store. And this was actually really strange, and it hasn't really happened ever since then. And I think maybe it's because nowadays, like, I stand a different kind of way inside the record store, but like these old fucks would like look at the records I was buying and like checking out, and then like I was like, I'm looking in like the Beatles section, and then they're like, Revolver's way better than that shit. I'm just like, why don't you go fuck yourself? Like, I'm just trying to have fun, you know what I mean? It's this whole idea of like people who are already cemented into the community having expectations of everyone and not being aware that there are different experience levels, and why I'm playing the game might be completely different to why Chandler's playing the game. You know what I mean? Like, whereas Chandler is more so looking for like those bot games and that really casual play, and then Greg's trying to sweat a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, those are both really important communities to maintain. But if you make the game super casual, you're going to lose on the professional players. But if you make the game super in depth and super crazy, you're going to like really gatekeep and block out a lot more casual players. So you kind of want to find that balance, right? Because you want casual people enjoying the game and it to become a game where it feels like you can just pick it up, start playing, or you can sink dozens of hours in, and you can just, become a pro at the game. And how does a community, like, how do we as a community, but then also how does the game creators, how do they create a space that you feel like you can thrive in both contexts? Because like if I think of a game like League of Legends, I feel like that game has always been very daunting with like the amount of in-depth content in it, the amount of heroes, and how serious fucking everyone takes the game. And then I think about like this might sound kind of cringe, but genuinely, like I've never seen something so like um mind blowing as, and yeah, it will sound kind of weird, but like there's this like phone game that Chandler and I play, uh, and the community is actually extremely helpful. Like there's some fucking people who have spent thousands of dollars in that game. They've been playing it since day one, but everyone is extremely nice, helpful, wanting other players to succeed and steer them in the right direction, which is a really interesting thing because it fosters this sense of like, oh man, this kind of sucks, but like if I need help, like I can go to a Discord, I can go to a Reddit, I can see content that'll actually help me as a player. You know, people are creating docs, people are creating PDFs, all this kind of stuff. But it's still encouraging that higher level competitive play.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I guess like I was just thinking about like what are ways to make sure that like no one is left behind, or do you guys think that maybe someone should be focused on more than the other? Like, you know, maybe I would, maybe like off the tip of like my tongue or something like that. Um, you know, maybe I would think that Greg would and without even getting your guys' opinion, like I would think Greg would want more of like a competitive focus, whereas Chandler would want more of a casual focus. Without having actually asked you guys. So like,
Yeah.
I guess just what are your guys' thoughts on that, just as a discussion piece?
Greg, do you want to make comment on what's in the chat?
Yeah, I'm already typing something.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't
Thank
know.
you for the
It's
follow
definitely
there.
it's definitely going to be interesting in how you make sure the entire community feels important, and that's really going to come down to the player base, I think, more so than the actual developers.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, again, like
How I look at it,
obviously, developers be as competitive as possible because that's where the money is. But it ends up being the community really are the ones that make it so that the more casual players have resources to get more into the game.
yeah. How I look at it is a game can be competitive as long as it's fun, and like I know that's like, I feel like I just hurt my own competitive heart saying that, but that's like ultimately what it comes down to. You know, if the game's fun, it can be competitive, kind of thing. But to make sure that we don't gatekeep casual and newer players, Steve, they need to just not makes it too complex. So the reason the MOBA genre exploded in the first place, way back in 2009 or whatever it was, with League of Legends, is because at face value the game looks super simple, but then once you get into the game, there was stuff like fast pushing a lane, freezing a lane, slow pushing a lane, and this was stuff that there's record of the Riot Games developers did not plan on that being like a tactic in the game. It just so happened that it was. You know what I mean? And it's stuff like that that really made the game in depth. And there's so much stuff in MOBAs that the skill ceiling just gets up and up. Now this is 2009 we're talking. It might have even been a few years before that, right? 2007 is when it released. Am I wrong saying that? No, it's definitely 2009 was open public full release of League of Legends. Anywho, so that was 2009. This is 2020, so a game needs to have a bit more now than just slow pushing, fast pushing. That's just the example I gave. So it does need to be a bit more complex and in depth, I do believe, but it needs to keep its core mechanics and core ideas need to stay simplistic, if that makes any sense. But so the journey from A to B needs to be simple, but the way you get there can be complex if you want it to be, if that makes any sense. And it's probably in your best interest to do that. And that's what I think. And when it comes to gatekeeping, that's where like MMR and stuff like a tutorial mode and versus AI are super important, because if someone's trying to gate this happens a lot. People think they're amazing at a video game, so they go and try competitive out. They get pooped on and realize that they actually aren't good at all, and then they don't want to try competitive out again. You know what I mean? Like that does happen often, and it's very hard to stop that from happening. It is hard to do that, but uh, but I think that there is ways that they can do that, and maybe there isn't a super fantastic creative way to, from the development side of things, to stop that from happening. But it's not to say that Strange Matter can't be the first to do it. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're a pioneer for something that I have no idea how to do that yet. I'll start brainstorming though, because it's on the mind now. And I think yeah,
the biggest thing that'll help make sure that the two different sort of communities within any game, so the competitive and the casual players, the whatever it's called. So the biggest thing that's going to make sure that either community does not feel alienated is having ranked mode.
yeah,
Just because, again, obviously, if you want to be competitive, you go ranked, because then you're going to queue with other people who are competitive. But then if you want to be more casual, you're just queuing with people in quick play, because you can either even be like a better player, but if you just want to play a casual game, you'll just go to quick play. And that's just how you make sure the two communities just don't feel alienated.
yeah. Dare, just to solve the confusion, Strange Matter Studios is the developer for Fault. They're the ones that created the game. But we, like this Twitch channel, me, Stranger, S.A. Reed, and Gotta Get Swole, none of us are affiliated with Strange Matter in any way. We're just kind of doing this from a consumer perspective.
Yeah, we don't have any direct impact in how the game's being developed.
Yeah, we have no direct impact whatsoever.
Not yet. So like if you want something changed or added, don't talk to us, because
yeah, you can tell us stuff, and I'll like if you had an idea and you brought it to me, all I would do was I would just bring it to the devs. That's all I was
going to say, you have no problem harassing people in Discord.
It's
but also at the same time, it's not like we have like pull. You know what I mean?
We got no pull.
That's my point. It's like we can't make something happen. We can equip you to make your best argument, but I mean, they don't pay us. I guess is like the easiest way to put it.
We're not a Fault partner.
We're not affiliated yet. Maybe one day. Who knows?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that on stream. Where were we? Yes, competitive. So yeah, I think what I would love to see is if Fault could come up with a gap between competitive play and casual play. And obviously there's a ranked mode, but ranked mode ranked is a good way to do that, but sometimes it just isn't enough, if that makes any sense. I don't know, for that leap, because how do I put this? Just because you're doing good in ranked usually still doesn't mean you'll do good in a tournament kind of thing. I don't if that makes any sense. And some would argue that the only way to get good is to cough up the money to join those tournaments, so on and so forth. If they cost money, most do, and do it that way, so that you get experience against the better people. But I would really like to see if somehow there's a bridge to shorten that gap between what quote unquote true competitive play is compared to casual, in that sense. Because ranked is not this, like, it's just not the same. I don't know. It is competitive, but you can also play competitive casually, in a sense. And you will, to where if you're playing in a tournament, you're not going to find someone that's just joking around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Unless, again, they were already just a more pro player who's just deciding to... They just don't care about winning.
Yeah, but that's different, because they're already...
And they were just invited into it, and they didn't actually pay to get into it.
They're already there. We're talking about like these new, trying to join competitive, create a team kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And rank's a great way to join the community, though. It is.
100%.
Don't be afraid to DM someone. Be like, yo, play with me tomorrow in ranked. You know what I'm saying? You were pretty good. Me and Steve actually had like our little Parabros is what it was called, Discord, for a little bit, and we used to play with those people.
Yeah.
I think
that
I'm
was- that
still
shit
on
was
that
cool.
Discord actually.
I left it.
Did you?
I did.
Wow.
Just because I'm a bit of a freak, so it didn't have an emblem. So when I'd look at Discord and I'd see all the Discords I'm a part of, and then I'd get to that one, and it was just like the letter P, and it was like, this shit's whack. So I left it.
Hmm.
Literally for no other reason than my petty aesthetic choices. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So is there any final points on that from either of you?
No.
No. And
Nope.
no.
I think that's pretty much everything.
That's pretty much it. We got 5 minutes to spare until we hit our mark. So in those last 5 minutes, I'm just gonna say a few things. I'm gonna start with my intro because I love doing it. Hey, what a flippy flop though! This is Stranger or Big Moose, and this is Faultarian Journal number 6, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. We made it kind of different this time. Usually we're just a bit more on topic, I guess is a good way to put it. But this time we did a lot more tangents. It was more of a it was just different. I don't know how to put it. It was just different. And I hope everyone that tuned in really enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, we do this once a week, so please hit that follow button to know when we do it. And Stephen Chandler, do you guys have anything else to say?
I mean, nothing outside of just super pumped for the game and definitely excited to be part of this growing community and be able to share our opinions with
Yes.
a greater.
And if for anyone that retunes in next week, if you guys want, come and join our voice chat and talk with us. We'll make it like we would love to hear you on stream and talk with us. Don't be afraid. We really, yeah, I really look forward to it when people do that because it happens every here and there.
Yeah, and just wash your fucking hands. And
Stay safe.
if you liked the intro music, sure, just if you liked the intro music, I also stream on no schedule, probably at least once a week. It's kind of like a random thing, you have to catch it, but I made that song on stream, chilling with Stranger and Gotta Get Swole. So if you catch that sometime throughout the week, you can hang out with us for another little session. Other than that, you'll see us again next Saturday.
And that's it, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. I personally can tell you this. I love doing this stuff. This is awesome. Oh, and I'm creating a 5-stack on early access launch date. So if you want to join that 5-stack, I don't know. I'm just. It's gonna happen. Whether it's gonna happen, and we're never gonna lose a game. So if anyone wants to be a part of a team that's never gonna lose, let me know. That's some pretty egotistical shit I just said, but that's okay. All right, Epileptica. I always have trouble saying your name. I've seen you in the stream multiple times. But yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, welcome back, Epileptica. That's awesome. I hope you didn't just join. We're ending.
Yeah, we're about to end. Oh, we have to see who's streaming now.
Oh, here's that.
Because we have to rate someone. Guys, if anyone cares, I'm going to be... holy crap. If anyone cares, I'm going to be streaming some Final Fantasy VII later, because that game is super fantastic. So let's see if there's anyone streaming that is a part of Fall Community. And there is no one. Okay, I guess we're just going to end it there. Thank you for tuning in. You just joined We're just ending. Jonah, the next broadcast will be on Saturday. The last 2 weeks we've been doing it at 5 p.m. Eastern is when we've been starting for 3 hours. But yes. 2 p.m.? 2 a.m.
Oh, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah. Epic. That's why we decided to do it, because we were looking up a few statistics, and it apparently said that 4 p.m. Eastern time is the best time because your Europeans can still tune in. It's still late, but it's not like 4 a.m. late. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. That's why we're trying to do it a bit earlier, because our first few streams we did it a bit later. We did it like 8 p.m. our time, which would be 4 a.m. your time.
Yeah, so like next Saturday, Epileptica, if you wanted to tune in, you could tune in to chat with us at like 11 p.m. your time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for explaining basic clock to you. I'm sorry. I feel like a dick.
No, you're not a dick. Steve, they're talking through a text chat. There can be a lot of miscommunication. You know what I mean? There can be a lot of miscommunication.
You're right.
Thank you very much, and lots of success with Fault. Seriously wants to be able to. Jonah, I'm actually going to go check out your YouTube literally after this.
Yeah, I put a link to it in our little personal
In our
chat.
personal one? Awesome. And if anyone else
Yeah,
has any other links that they would... Guys, you know what I would love? If anyone has some Alpha 3 gameplay or any Alpha gameplay and they want me to put it up on stream to show, I would love to do it. I got like 34 hours of gameplay from just that weekend, but that's all I got. So I would love to show new gameplay on the stream and make it happen. Anywho, other than that, I'll see ya, and I'll end with a song.